Hello and welcome. This is the LTTPR Doors League final match between Andy and prdwong. I am joined by Clearmouse.
Hello. How is it going, Plumeria? Are you excited for this? I really actually can't believe it's already the finals. It actually really didn't seem like people were playing Doors for so long, and yet here we are watching two Doors Titans taking this one in actually a very relevant best of one finals.
I am incredibly excited. This has been a culmination of 6 weeks of seeds over the regular season, followed by the quarterfinals and the semifinals. Both of these players have posted some outstanding times, so I think we're going to have some great rando play this afternoon.
Yeah. And, so awesome. Thank you so much to our restreamer Pool Float, and of course our awesome tracking Broken, who is doing some amazing double duty work, basically tracking doors for not only one person, but two people. Those of you who've been playing doors, we've been kind of like been watching, just notes how difficult that feat actually is even just for one person. So it's going to be a really, really awesome time. And I was actually going to say, of course, we are on Andy's channel, so, those of you who maybe frequently visit this stream might know a thing or two about Andy. He's got multiple randomizer champions, been around the community for, quite some time. You know a mode, you name a mode, he's played it. He is, one of the top contenders basically in every single category. Certainly no surprise to see him here. prdwong, though, actually was last season's or year's Doors champion. So this is actually he is defending his title. Whether it was a coincidence or not, prdwong actually told us ahead of time that he chose a random sprite, basically just let the generator pick a sprite for him. And well, out of like the 400 or something we got, he picked the pug sprite. So it's gonna actually be quite the battle here.
Yes, it definitely will be. Looks like we get starting at Link's house for both players, and we get a Swamp Small Key.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. So.
Ordinarily, you'd think, well, okay, we can get into Swamp Palace, but not necessarily the case today with the Doors randomizer. There could be any number of keys in Swamp Palace that we can find today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so for those of you, I guess, who have probably not really seen too many Doors, although maybe being frequent visitors of Andy, I think he's probably streamed every single one of his matches so far. So Doors typically really challenge your initial perception and reactions to in this case all the items that you get, right? So typically in almost every non-Doors, we have when you first see, oh man, I have a Swamp Palace small key, that is the one and only one that you really need in order to access the rest of the dungeon. As you just said, Plumeria, that is actually not going to be the case. You're going to have to really kind of go against your instinct, where once you're probably going to end up having to find, a bunch more of those to kind of progress throughout the dungeon.
Yeah, and as we see there, the lobby to that dungeon, I missed which dungeon it was, but it was the back of the sewer of Hyrule Castle, and there's actually a bombable wall blocking progress for our players, so they'll have to come back with some bombs to get further into that dungeon.
Oh yeah, just like with any other randomizer, we are going to still have to be in search for some resources. Looks like actually you are absolutely correct. Not only, of course, do we need keys, we also do some of actually the doors where you're actually maybe accustomed to end up seeing, like a key locked one, or something that you can probably just like use boost to bonk open. That actually may or may not be the case here in Doors Rando.
And speaking of the boots, I suppose I should mention that the boots they're dashing with are actually pseudo boots. They operate in a very different way from the regular boots. You can't open any door locations with them. You can't bonk open the big walls with them. And you can't do most of the special tricks with them, like hovering or bonking over gaps.
Yeah. And so right, so Pseudo Boost I think actually was originally attributed to Bonza, who was originally kind of like the developer who took the lead on actually getting us these pseudo boots. And really, I think it's actually kind of meant to bridge the gap between we really want to be able to dash, move fast, use all of the boots tech, but still preserve some of the logical implications, as you just said. We can't actually bonk things off of torches. We can't actually bonk open like doors and walls and such. So any of the boots lock locations is still going to be boots locked. So I think it's actually really nice. Not won't necessarily say compromise, but a really nice feature that was basically enabled for doors. And the more, of course, you randomize, typically speaking, the longer your seed is going to take. And so I think actually, if I remember correctly, there was probably, I think it was like one seed in the like regular season where boosts were like so ridiculously varied for like 3 hours. Most people didn't end up ended up getting them at all. So it was just kind of like really nice to be able to kind of at least like move fast for the most of the seed, right? As opposed to kind of just like slogging, and walking everywhere.
Yeah, I think we found at least 3 dungeons already, maybe more. This is a pretty interesting early seed. There could be a lot of items, or maybe these dungeons just have a bunch of junk in them. We just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and so I think just like the more randomization we have, actually, and so one of the really nice things about doors, actually, you can even see on the screen, there are almost these like built-in compasses. We already have basically like we have item counts already, so we know that like so both in this case, Andy and prdwong are both in Skull Woods, indicated by like the D3 in the upper left-hand corner. You can see that there are 12 items here that are possible. And of course, actually, we have this really nice global item counter as well. In this case, Andy and prdwong both have 5 out of 281 possible items.
And so far, these dungeons aren't being really too kind. Just need a lot of keys and resources to get anywhere.
Yeah, I was even so this is actually a really good observation. You talked about needing bombs earlier. So both Andy and prdwong I think would really benefit from some additional bombs. They don't have any weapons either, so even like hitting switches at this point, right, is actually going to be even like quite the challenge. They only really have 1 bomb to their name. prdwong looks like he did try to farm a little bit more in the bushes. Didn't actually look like he was quite successful. Did find Sick Kid in the I guess like the refill room, but in this case we're gonna basically have to go find some more resources if we really want to be able to do anything. You see that Andy, oh man, he is really trying in order to get something. If in situations, we actually see that Andy's actually being very resourceful. In these types of situations, you take exactly, what you could get. Andy saw that there was a free bomb refill, the one that he found here, basically in one of the vanilla Ice Palace locations. He is definitely going to take that to his advantage.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd like a slightly more convenient source of bombs, but exactly, you take what you can get, and let's see if he can blow up this berry with his one last bomb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So, as we've also just seen on Andy's side, so typically speaking, that is a key bari. Would actually have normally a small key to, well, in this case, like Vanilla Ice Palace. However, we actually do have, I think it's not called pot shuffle, right? But it's like key drop, right? Where all of the items and enemy drops are also shuffled among the pool as well. That's actually part of the reason why we end up getting, in this case, 281 items instead of 216. So in this case, instead of a small key to, well, Skull Woods or anything else, we have a heart piece on Andy's side.
And Andy's going to check out this entrance. We know it'll take us to the Dark World, and it takes us to the back of Skull Woods.
Yeah, so of course, no Moon Pearl, no Mirror, no Fire Rod means that is going to be at least a branch or a path that Andy's going to have to come back to later. On prdwong's side, all right, so okay, a lot of things actually going on. We actually do see that I'm not actually sure what the exact like technical name of it. I don't know if you know Plumeria, but I guess I've always called it like almost like a pseudo mirror. So it is a map icon that lets you mirror back to the beginning of the dungeon, which is actually really convenient on prdwong's side.
Yeah, I believe the official name is the map scroll. Or
Map
your
scroll. Okay, all right. That is yeah. So especially for Dorsey's, where all the dungeons are randomized, you really don't know like what path you are. Do you have to pretty much do like a really good of tracking and basically cartographing your way out. To be able to kind of have to like slog your way back to the entrance because you have to get it is quite tedious. I think that was actually a really nice addition to be able to in like the door settings.
Yeah, indeed, and similarly to pseudo boots, a lot of the functionality of the mirror that you can do for glitches, like link state without the moon pearl, are disabled. So you need to find the mirror in order to do those tricks. And you also can't use it to warp from the dark world to the light world. prdwong finds bombs, but they're locked behind the hammer, so he can't get them. Oh, here's a nice, we've got vanilla pod entrance. This is a great place to farm up some bombs, so I think both players will be finding them pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh no, this is certainly really good news. Yeah, and so right, I think you actually mentioned very early on that Link's house actually in this particular season, this particular set can actually be randomized. Was actually quite the difference. Something I think Link's house of all places, I think has always been kind of like a fixture, a staple basically in every single mode, right? Really cool to see that basically change here indoors. Right, where I was getting at was so prdwong walking into pod. Do you happen to know in this case if the lobbies, like the entrances to dungeons, are fixed, or can it actually be randomized?
The settings for this season are that the lobbies are randomized, so any room with a south-facing door can be the lobby to the dungeon.
Nice.
But, Desert will still have 4 lobbies. Turtle Rock will still have 4. So that's consistent. But otherwise, it's totally random.
Yeah, that is actually something that's really cool to see. And yes, prdwong finds a heart piece actually under one of the basically key pots where you normally pick up a small key in Orcs Grace 2, that hallway.
Oh, the fire rod on prdwong's side, that is a big pickup. Where did we find that? I see Andy has it as well.
Yeah, it must have been basically some explorations. I ended up not quite catching that myself, but yeah, certainly I think would be actually both having the fire rod and the lamp. Fire rod, of course, being a really nice offensive power. And of course, the lamp basically letting us see all of the dark rooms. Very convenient, of course, for us viewers.
Yeah, indeed. Usually, dark rooms is a huge skill to have for door randomizer. Today, yeah, here's a free lamp. Get it right at the beginning of the seed. Oh, and Andy also finding Sahasrara, and we see that Swamp Palace is our green pendant today. The goal is to defeat the 7 crystal dungeons. GT is not required. So once the players figure out which dungeons have their crystals in them, where those dungeons are, and where Ganon is, they can defeat the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, for Andy Winity, I'm talking to Sahasrara, so we did end up finding some pretty good knowledge that, of course, Swamp Palace is a pendant, the green one, but unfortunately, Andy still didn't have any bombs, so he couldn't actually access the back of Sahasrara, and, again, pseudo boots giving us the movement ability and the speed of regular boots, unfortunately does not give us the logical opening that we're going to use in order to get to the back.
I'm not sure if that death was intentional from prdwong or not, but the seed has not been very healthy so far. Just still both players on 3 hearts and green mail.
Yeah, and lots of small keys so far. That fire rod actually has been, looks like actually like quite the luxury of life upgrade. Man, oh man, prdwong actually showing us. You see the brief hesitation. There are going to be basically lots of doors in this case that are going to require keys, and well, sometimes this is one of the features of door rando is that you get to make lots of decisions and hope that you don't regret most of them.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to save those keys, maybe come back later. The map for each dungeon will tell you how many keys are in the dungeon maximum, so that can help you a lot as well. This TR lobby, we found it from several different directions. I wonder if it actually leads anywhere.
Yeah, and of course, so currently without the King of Samaria, there is not going to be really much of a way that we're going to be able to progress further. And yes, in case for those of you who are wondering, pseudo boost also prohibits the actual like hovering technique that many of you I think are probably used to seeing from pugs. So until they find those real boots, even Andy and prdwong are going to be stuck, basically trying to do things the more conventional way.
Alright, so we found Helmosaur King, so that may lead Andy to be a little more, free to spend these keys. We'll have to see what he chooses to do.
Yeah, so I guess I'm kind of curious. Like, so do you have a sense maybe of like how often people end up kind of like save scumming their keys? Because as we just saw, especially here in Pod, there have been several branches so far, and so like Do you know if like runners or maybe like these guys like want to try and use a key and then try and like save stun it later?
Yeah, so I don't think they do it too often. It depends on where the dungeon is, how convenient it is to get back to, and how much progress they're gonna lose with that save scum as well. Ooh, okay. The bow on race game.
All right, so that is gonna have to require a real mirror in order to get to there.
Yeah,
just like for those.
It could also require a transition to that Kakariko brother's house.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. So, those of you who probably played, some more, not necessarily doors, but just like entrance builds in general, knows that the race game is not quite as easily as accessible as just basically, kind of like going over and basically just running your way over.
Well, prdwong finds the fairy transition cave, and I hate getting the wrong side of this cave because it's so much longer to go through this way.
No, this is arguably, even for like non-doors, this is arguably one of the like worst connectors if you have to basically climb up various ends, right?
That was Andy, a great stop from Andy there. He almost dashed right into that key door.
Yeah, I was even gonna say, so let's Andy looks like actually he's making some pretty reasonable dynamic routing choices. Wants to kind of looks like he wants to see the rest of his options kind of faced with the rest of basically the same dilemma that prdwong has. Like, well, I have one key. I didn't want to spin it earlier, but I guess faced with two more key doors, let's hope that this is going to be something good.
Yeah, and I think they both have made the same decision so far, so it's pretty even as far as decision making goes. I don't think there's an advantage for key usage right now.
Yeah, and of course, just with the more randomization you add in, the more, in this case, decisions you have to make, the more chances for divergence. So far, at least in the early game, things look relatively stable. A lot, both prdwong and Andy have, relatively speaking, kind of like done the same things or very similar things the other one has. Relkin, our tracker, though, looks like potentially maybe prdwong has not quite checked the well, in this case, exactly where Andy has come back to, which is Saha, which is where the original Smiths are. Hopefully he's not going to be missing out on anything too bad. Nope, looks like he's good.
The 50 rupees may come in handy. This is shop sanity, so there will be items in shops.
Right, yeah.
I don't think we've seen any shops yet, so those are still lurking out there.
Yeah, actually, yeah, and so I think very early on, early game, right? You guys actually see a little bit of a rupee difference. I want to say that Andy tried to pick up a little bit more. Did he hula hand maybe at the very beginning?
Yes,
maybe that's yeah. So that was probably one of the reasons why he wanted to do so. This was actually, I think, a really at least just from hearing some of the other like feedback throughout the season. Shop Sanity is one of those actually like additional features which has been very well received. So basically, in addition to killing, opening chests, picking up pots, killing enemies, you are also going to be able to buy some of your required or necessary or nice to have items from shops. So another kind of like nice game knowledge to be able to know where the rest of the shops are in this case.
And today we see that the Hera basement is not key locked. It almost always seems like it is, so that's kind of nice not to see that today.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, it's just so Purity Wall ended up picking up 50 rupees. Yeah, I think you did mention this earlier. 50 rupees, even though Andy did find them, in the back of Saha as well. Actually, just could come in, handy. You could never have too much money when you're playing Shop Sandy. Andy finally finding Greg. Oh wow,
That's big.
Really nice find. Not only did he find finally like a nice bomb farm, he found the mirror. Looks like it's the entrance of Hyrule Castle. So I don't imagine Purity Wong missing that for too long, but certainly early mirror in any type of entrance / door seat is very, very powerful.
Yeah, and Purity Wong finding Burna, an Ice Palace key, and another key that I forgot already.
Oh. This is the fun part of watching doors. You think that 4 eyes might be enough, and sometimes it still isn't.
Castle Tower key.
All right, Relkin. Yeah, Relkin's totally on top of things here. Also, just another feature I would consider probably more often seen in Doors Rando is that a lot of these rooms that you're really used to seeing done in a very specific way, right? For example, the back of Skull Woods lobby. In this case, you're just more often than not, you're always could just basically start from the beginning and just dash right through and hope that the fire snake isn't in your way, right? We see prdwong doing the room backwards. He has done double readies in Eastern Palace right before Armos Nights backwards. This is actually this is just something that you have to probably overcome, I would say, your previous muscle memory, and you get actually a fresh new perspective on some of these rooms.
I'm curious to see where these two go after we kind of exhaust the Light World entrances here.
Yeah, speaking of another room, it's that room leading up to what traditionally is Agnum's tower, or Agnum's, I guess, room in this case. It's hard enough forwards. Purity Wong on one heart has to go backwards through this. All right, he does very well, of course, to remember that there is an item, or in this case, a big key to Ice Palace in the bottom left-hand corner, as opposed to the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. Andy comes into the lobby that Purity Wong leaves.
Well, so it's not quite the sync, right? But I guess it's a backward sync. Yeah, Purity Wong though, he does. I mean, and you mentioned earlier, right? The health so far for early game has not been super friendly. Purity Wong does actually a really nice job of pumping to get past the blue guard there. He is on half a heart. Overworld death warping is really not as good as it's cracked up to be. Purity Wong. Oh man. So I mean, so he, being in one hit K mode anyway means that those slugs probably weren't going to be any more danger to him. But yeah, it looks like there are just more decisions in this case that Purity Wong has to make.
Yeah, that slug room is one you never see in most rando, and indoors. Those slugs are dangerous. They do a lot of damage.
Yes.
So very scary room to get through, and I don't think he has enough magic to get through them. He'd have to use bombs.
Ooh, yeah, all right, okay, so Purity Wong does have a little bit of fortune on his side, at least for the time being. I think this is probably the first shop that we've actually encountered. It is the potion shop. In this case, not only we selling potions, we just see that Purity Wong was able to score some deals on his side, picking up a Skull Key to Skull Woods for 30 rupees and a Heart Piece for 5. So when and if Andy gets over there, he should basically also be able to afford the same things.
Yeah, and it should be pointed out, these two, I don't think buy heart pieces very often at all. So I can tell you
that is very true.
Just how badly the health is hurting right now that he would want to pick one of those up.
Yeah, I mean, given that, I think that heart piece has ended up, increasing Purity Wong's life to a whole 4 hearts at this point. Still in one-hit KO mode against those slugs, but hopefully, the situation will improve a little bit after that. All right, Andy. All right, so very well versed. He, of course, gets to basically do this, front to back as opposed to back to front. No sword, unfortunately, means that he can't really be able to kind of, I guess, like lure or bait those guards away. You have to kind of use his actual like body instead. Oh
Yeah,
man,
the
is Andy
back
gonna
of
make this? Oh.
it's getting pretty close there.
Mhm.
We've got the back of Bumper Cave. You can actually use either the cape or the hookshot to get through from that side of Bumper Cave. So either item could let them get to a new area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like the prdwong finally has kind of made his way over to the castle. You know, and again, part of being I would say, like a good Doors player, is also to be able to, resource management at this point is even more crucial. Than I would say compared to other modes, just because we are seeing, early game, how much these guys had to struggle even for one bomb, right? They're basically, reloading, rooms that were like 4 or 5 screens away just in order to get one bomb. So it's really actually, good to see basically all, these runners trying to take advantage of tree pulls, prize packs, enemy drops, whatever basically they can get their hands on. Yeah, prdwong finding to pick up his near nice bomb farm, and fortunate for him, also really nice heart farm as well.
We're still a little lacking on weapons, but maybe the Cane of Burna could come in handy. Maybe they'll find half magic or something to help out. But yeah, this is just really interesting start to this seed.
Yeah, actually, that's actually a very interesting point you pointed out. So, we have the Fire Rod, which I would say is, considered to be one of the more magic-intensive items. Cane of Burna also is a pretty intensive item. Also, could be, oh man, those bombs. Not helping on Andy's side, of course. But I was going to say, like, magic is another resource that you have to kind of manage pretty well. Right, and so the more magic you have in this case, the better your life is going to be. It would really be nice if we could find a sword, so at least when we're kind of dashing through the overworld, dashing through dungeons, won't have to necessarily get stopped all the time.
And we're getting our South Shore check. Looks like prdwong is heading back, trying to avoid the Ice Rod Cave for now. Can't get into the under the rock on either side here.
Ooh, yeah, looks like that he is also willing to spend some of his hard-earned rupees to get what is considered to be a helpful hint. In this case, it says that purple chest just leads to a heartbeat, so that one, chances are, prdwong is probably not going to go after, even though, heart pieces, especially at this point, would be quite nice to have.
Yeah, that's not a bad hint to get. It's just going to save you a little bit of time picking up that purple chest. You don't have to get it now.
Yeah, we also just see, still no real boots. One of the differences, even visually and physically, when prdwong ended up taking a small bonk, trying to get out of Hyrule Castle. Yeah, she did see that, and also basically trying to set up a fake flipper in order to get to the witches' huts area. The bonk is actually just slightly shorter, so they don't actually get like the full bonk. Not only the animation, right, but also you don't get the distance. Also pretty important for logical implications.
I believe the total bonk is the same distance, but the sprite kind of bounces, so you'll fall
really?
into a
Okay.
pit. Yeah, so like you can use it to rail clip in the Turtle Rock Big Chest room.
That's right. I have seen that.
Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, exactly. You can't use it to cross pits or things like that.
Yeah, I think actually I remember, some people like to, when they try and fight Lambos with the bow, they try and basically they run to the back and then like they use like the bonk to kind of set up like their initial position, and the bonk using pseudo boots isn't quite the same in this case as a regular boots. Ooh, interesting. Both runners ended up starting from Sanctuary, and where do we end up leading off to? Hey, speaking of the Turtle Rock Big Chest, Andy, just gave us a really nice visual demonstration that with pseudo boost we could still basically be able to get off to the other side. Looks like prdwong is going to also try and do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and really nice knowledge using that mirror to get into this dungeon here.
Mhm.
Ordinarily,
Yeah,
you'd need the glove to get here, but yeah, the mirror works too.
Yeah, and so no real sword or no real even weapon. Looks like actually at least Andy's got a bit more magic to his name. So I think if you really wanted to, he could try and like use like Burna or something, try to get past some of these Kadongos. Looks like though with one key, Andy is willing to keep going inside further on into GT.
Ooh.
Peter Wong is going to take a slight divergence and go somewhere else.
Unfortunately, that's
no.
a wasted key for Andy. That just
Yeah,
led right back
it
to the
was,
beginning of the dungeon. Now he could reset. I think he just saved. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe...
I think you're right actually. Because I think right, so both runners are starting at the beginning of saying they mirrored, right? And then they basically got right through GT. So potentially, yeah, we could maybe see something like that.
Oh, and it just occurred to me, both players can now go pick up that bow if they're just willing to bunny walk right down to dig game.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
It would be another weapon, and, I think anything would be helpful right now.
That's right. Admittedly, I personally am a little bit biased, towards the bow. I do think it's a great weapon, but you are absolutely correct. In that we really don't have any physical weapons to our name. We have a full quiver of 30 arrows, which is going to be, very helpful if they have the bow. Certainly going to be, a nice respite. So we not have to rely basically on magic as much.
Yeah, if they wanted to, they could take bombs and arrows and go right back to that Helmasaur King. Probably might wait a little bit.
Right back, might be a little bit more subjective to our runners. I have every confidence, of course, in their, execution ability. May not be their initial preference, I guess, for this particular moment as of this time. Alright, so I think actually Purity Wong ended up killing one of the Baris, so I guess it must have been a vanilla GT small key, if it didn't have like a text box or something like that?
Yeah, that's right. That's
okay.
If it's the key to the dungeon that you're in, you don't get a text box.
Okay, cool. Alright, Purity Wong also reading a free hint tile in what is normally like the Ice Palace lobby room. Saw that a Swamp Small is on Trinex. Well, I don't think we found anywhere close to basically where Trinex is, but I guess that could be good knowledge.
Well, did you see what Andy just picked up?
Oh man, Andy finding another major ticket item for mobility. He found the flute pretty actually close to that flute Kakariko activation place as well. Actually, this is probably exactly where he's going.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And, pretty good odds that Old Man Cave can be found up on Death Mountain. There's a small chance that Tower of Hera is where the back comes out of. But that's also another entrance that he can save and quit to find. Maybe it's in a unique place that could lead to some more entrances.
Yeah, alright, so Andy taking his time basically to talk to what is normally a Dark World storyteller, finding out it said left door of Castle Tower leads to a bounty of 5 items, so that if you can find a connector or a mirror up there on Pyramid, that would actually be really nice to be able to have just 5 items right there for you.
Yeah, those hints are usually pretty nice. Big Key to Thieves Town is a great hint to get. You can actually take the maiden to the boss room, and the maiden will tell you where the cracked floor is.
Oh, really? Well, that's so helpful.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's in the maiden's best interest for herself or itself, I guess, but at least it's really nice for plugs. Alright, so Purity Wong though, wrestling here, oh no. I was gonna say wrestling here with Shams, unfortunately still on 1-hit KO mode because we're still on green mail, 4 hearts. Andy, I think he was a little bit more successful in getting that chest, but right now, I actually don't quite remember what was in that chest. I want to say it wasn't anything important.
No, it was the flute, I think.
Oh, it was the flute! Oh no, sorry. So we're going to be slightly more delayed on Purity Wong's side in order to get the flute. Hopefully, he is willing to go back there, maybe with a little bit more health. That was a really unfortunate.
Yeah, I was really hoping he was going to go right back in to get that, but avoiding change for now isn't the worst thing.
Yeah.
We'll see what this flute leads to as well.
Yeah. And of course, right. So I guess whenever you kind of see runners, well, either Andy or Peter wants to just take a slight pause, before kind of either making a decision. It could be that they're thinking, and also keep in mind we have Relkin doing all of our tracking, who is awesome at keeping on top of everything. Andy and Purity Wong are also trying to track their own, keeping track of entrances, dungeon paths, routing, everything. Right. Very very important. Even like doors is like the chances of you potentially messing up or mistracking is like so high, right? So it's just very important for people to be able to to do their due diligence in order to keep track of everything is.
Yeah, tracking is really kind of a nightmare in this mode, but there are a lot of tools that I don't know how these guys do it, but they somehow just get it as they're moving, and it's really impressive.
Yeah, I guess maybe for what it's worth, everything does take practice, but yeah, in order even to get to have practice paying off for you, right? It's just something very very impressive. I do know that Purity Wong came out with this kind of he developed his own tracker, which I have seen quite a number of people use, for this for doors, for this league in general. But really, it's just kind of like whatever you're comfortable with, or as comfortable as you're gonna get, basically.
Yeah, it's a really nice tracker. I've had fun using it. It's a little too much for me to keep track of, but it's great.
Yeah, I definitely heard that, a part of, I guess, the doors fun. Ooh, Andy, all right, next big ticket item for him is that all right, so he got the mirror, he has the flute from Turtle Rock Chomps, he got the sword out of, looks like, research chest. That is going to be something that's going to be really nice quality of life improvement for him for sure. Ooh, Purity Wong though, this is what, fishbone room, I think, that you normally see in Fire. Yeah, because it looks, well, there's the fishbone right there, but he picked up the cape, which is going to be something really nice, going to be safety.
Also has a switch in here if there's some pegs later on in the dungeon. Could be important to come back to.
Oh, alright, Purity Wong actually demonstrated you can actually use Pseudo Boost to bonk over to what's normally the Ice Armos door drop down. I didn't actually think I knew that, because I thought actually the distance was too far to bonk, but looks like you can still get there with Pseudo Boost. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we see that Thief Stone is a crystal today. One of the very unique things about doors is that you have no idea which items you're going to need throughout the seed. And Thieves' Town is one of the unique dungeons in that the Maiden is always locked behind the room that requires all those big keys. Or the single big key, rather.
Oh, nice. Okay. Alright. That's actually good knowledge to know. Yeah.
Yeah, so we know we will need that today.
Oh, right, because I think, it was Andy who talked to the bomb merchant with the 5-6 and said that Thieves' Town and looks like actually Desert is going to be like 5-6 crystals today. Alright, Purity Wong looks like he is not quite done, at least with the North Darkwood side. He was being chased by not only one, but two murder dactyls. It looks like he just wanted to kind of reset the screen in order to kind of check out the rest of this place. Still on 4 hearts, unfortunately. I'm really hoping that they're going to be able to, get some more health at some point. We don't even really have, we do have safeties, Purity Wong does have the cape and burn up, but again, these are kind of magic intensive items, and so you really kind of rather, especially for Purity Wong, who doesn't have even like a sword or anything like that, really want to be able to try and save some of this magic potentially for something that's harder to, in more difficult situations.
Yeah, and you can't even use those items as a bunny, so you just have to...
Oh yeah, that's true.
Dodge.
Yeah. Alright, Andy though, capitalizing on the hint that he saw earlier, got up to Castle Tower, ended up finding Hype Cave, looks like I think it was a big key to Ice Palace and a small key to Castle Tower. Might have been the only things I ended up catching.
Yeah, I think there's a big key to Hera that you mentioned.
Oh, Hera, that's right, yeah.
Oh, and Blue Mail, yeah. It's a big one.
Oh,
big pickup.
Oh man. Yeah, that is actually a really, especially at this stage, right? So a lot of interest runners, I think, typically like to see mail upgrades after the mirror. So not only did, Andy and Purity Wong ended up finding the mirror early, They're still on 4 hearts, by the way. So that blue mail is certainly really nice for sight for sore eyes.
That entrance that we found early that required that bomb just gave us Samaria. That's a pretty big pickup.
Nice. Alright, so that's actually, yeah, so that's Kano Samaria, at least on prdwong side, that is going to be a really, really nice find. We're certainly seeing a lot of bunny walking. I guess maybe I don't know if this is considered typical indoors. But I guess maybe it might be like dependent on the seeds. So it kind of begs the question at this point, where is our Moon Pearl?
Yeah, I think they're just running out of places to go.
You would think out of all of the, like, you know, every entrance, right? Dungeon, item, everything has basically been randomized. You know, in the shops have been randomized, items, and you know, like, you would think that we don't find something, and yet, you know, still. Sometimes you still can basically get bottlenecked into one thing or another.
Yeah, I mean,
Andy!
Sorry, for my strategy, you know, I just try to find as many entrances as I can before I really commit to getting through the logic of the dungeons, because I just don't know what the key layout is going to be.
Yeah, that's actually sounds something very, very reasonable. You know, just because, you know, especially we actually saw, you know, early game, right? Andy and prdwong both kind of like diving dungeons, but they had basically multiple forks, you know, in their path to try and, you know, like I have to make a decision. So you can certainly come back in, you know, with more keys. You don't have to kind of like give yourself that initial mental strain.
Yeah, and prdwong is taking advantage of this mirror, using it to glitch into interior locations with link state, getting these items out of these caves and pulling the dam, so we'll have to find the flippers if he finds the swamp lobby to get through that.
Yeah. Oh man. Our prdwong, yeah, again, you know, prdwong is really, well, you know, he's being very brave, bunny walking all of this. You just see that he is basically, at this point, almost a one-hit KO. Like, he has to avoid all of the enemies. I think he could get hit by a spear if he really needed to.
Yeah, just the spear would be okay. But Andy doing the fake flipper here. Seeing not too much help from the man under the bridge, but yeah, just getting a couple more entrances, I think.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, as Andy walked past the, what is it, like the rock that you typically use to enter the Dark World, is a nice reminder that, you know, we do have some nice things. You know, got a mirror, got a sword, got a flute, at least on Andy's side, Kano Samaria on prdwong's side, which it looks like he's actually try and take advantage of. We have no hammer. We have no glove, like, anywhere in this case. It would those would certainly probably be, you know, next on the docket for things that we would like to be able to find.
Yeah, I mean, look at the item counts. It's 40 for prdwong, 47 for Andy, and we're 41 minutes in. That's pretty low for this point for both players. Oh, there's a bottle for Andy. You can go back to Sick Kid and see what that is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I think I remember Sick Kid was the refill room in Kakariko. I definitely know the prdwong saw it. I'm gonna assume that Andy did as well, given that he is fluted right back to Kakariko and he's basically headed there right now. All right, Ice Palace leads to a boring house. Well, okay, so that is actually really nice to know. We did see Andy do the the waterfall wishing upgrade fairy on the light world, so we know that at least on prdwong's side, he doesn't have to do the dark world version.
Alright, here's the mountain play from Andy that I was expecting. Got to it a little later than I thought, but I'm not going to question his decision making.
No, these guys are in the finals for a reason. prdwong, of course, defending champion of doors, and Andy, well, we're on his channel, and so I think he probably doesn't need too much more of an introduction. Ooh, is prdwong? Is he potentially going to try and banish this mimic?
Just go get the bow.
the bow is so far away. You know, we're right here. Maybe he can, you know, do some intimidation tactics here. All right, Andy though, you know, and he actually looks like quite the safety difference. Andy ended up picking up another heart container from what is normally like the ice, the stuff behind ice armor. 6 hearts, blue mail. Andy is invincible.
Yeah, I think so. That's pretty much all he needs.
All right, prdwong. Oh my gosh, dude, that is absolutely hilarious. prdwong did such a good job staring down the first red mimic, getting him off the screen, and then it turns out he had a brother waiting for him in the next room, and prdwong says, "Nope, I'm not gonna do it twice."
Probably a good decision. Just come back with the bow and get that later.
Alright, so speaking of though, looks like Andy has made his way up the mountain, rescuing the old man, and we're gonna actually see where the old man, well, not only what he has, but also where he ends up, I guess, like, leaving this entrance.
Yeah, the great thing about the old man is that he actually has 2 entrances because his cave is a connector. So if you have a
right, that's right, yeah.
You can go both ways out of it.
Alright, prdwong finally visiting the back of Sahashula's huts, getting his, well, a little bit more money, a little bit more resources. Andy, man, yeah, this is nice, yeah, I was gonna say, nice thing about pseudo boots, we get to go fast.
Yeah, I had no idea you could walk to the left of those rocks. Ooh, the bug net, nice. We already have the sword, so not a logical requirement for Aga or anything, but could have been.
I won't say necessarily it's of a real concern in terms of safety for Andy, and given that he is on 6 hearts and blue mail, but you know, maybe for prdwong, if he's still, you know, on 4 hearts and, well, green mail, and like, you know, I bet maybe he'll get a bottle. So, bug net's not necessarily a bad safety to have.
Yeah, and you know, the cash has not been coming. So if they do find a shop with potions in it, they probably won't buy any, just to save them for potential major item. They can come to 500 rupees in cost.
Yeah, I think in this case, we've only seen a couple shops so far. I think I see like maybe like one that had like a red potion, but I think so far, you know, for better or for worse, right? These runners, while they don't have a ton of cash, you know, next to their name, they haven't really encountered a shop that has really been, you know, spend heavy in this case, right? I think they bought like a skull with small key for like 30 rupees. They got like a heart piece for another, you know, like 5 or 10 or something like that. You know, it's just, it happens to be like when you are faced with like 2 or 3 items that both cost 100, 200 each, you know, you really don't want to be in a position, you know, where you basically have to pick an item and then have to like come back later for the other one.
Yeah, definitely. I know Andy loves to find the archery game, and will spend some time in there if it shows up, just to get some safety rupees. To answer a question in chat, Samaria was from Turtle Rock. The entrance is located in the Gambling Den in the Lost Woods. prdwong needed a bomb to get through the sewer room from the back of the castle tower, so pretty interesting item location. Maybe Andy will get back there pretty soon. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and kind of like the other kind of like major difference items wise in this case is, you know, what we did say prdwong ended up picking up his sword from free sword chests, is, well, so unfortunate prdwong had a bit too strong of a wrestling match with the Chops, ended up taking an unfortunate death before he could end up claiming the prize, which in this case was Andy's flutes.
And Andy finding a nice connector out of the safety door that usually leads to the safety door in TR, but only finding that fairy cave in the bottom, but did find Hookshot Cave in, well, I don't even know what, it's Fairy Ascension Cave, I think, in that spot there.
Yeah, looks like though Andy is going to just try and explore the rest of his interests here on Death Mountain. It's certainly a very common strategy to kind of see like what your options are before kind of try and at least committing into something. Meanwhile, prdwong picks up his bow, which I believe you alluded to earlier when he was trying to face down those mimics. That might incentivize for him to go back and try and finish the job. I guess we just have to see.
Yeah, sometimes having that knowledge, you just, yeah, let's go back, let's do it. So far, none of these dungeons have been, you know, giant. Not a ton
that
of
is true.
items.
Yeah.
Yeah, things have really kind of slowed down here, haven't they?
I am disappointed that Andy did not want to gamble his fortune to try and make a couple bucks in the gamble game. I guess it's he doesn't want to leave anything up to chance. Certainly understandable in the grand finals here.
You know, I don't know if that game is profitable or not, but there must be a reason why he didn't.
I'm sure casinos are only there for the public, right? And for us to make money, yes, I'm sure that's the reason. Alright, another nice, cool thing, well, for better or for worse, Andy, of course, is traversing some of these rooms backwards. I think it's actually really cool to see as viewers, just because, you know, it's actually kind of like a nice, refreshing pace in order to see. Not always, in this case, you know, the room's done exactly, precisely, you know, in the quote-unquote optimal way. Forwards, at least.
Oh, and Andy can clear off the Bonk Rocks entrance there, just leads right out of that dungeon.
Alright, prdwong though has found, well, pod laser bridge. It looks like he is actually trying at least to do some laser skips with these pseudo boots. Very much possible. Is very well rewarded with a master sword. That is actually going to be quite nice for him.
Alright, so a little more divergence coming out of these two, and it's resulting in quite a bit of difference, I'd say.
Yeah, and oh, that's actually a really nice full magic drop there. You know, on prdwong's side. Yeah, and I was just like what you I think mentioned earlier. prdwong took the time basically to try found the King of Samaria. Basically has capitalized, you know, basically to the front of pod. And really trying to get past all of the King of Samaria block rooms. We also just did see that Andy encounter some locations that were also locked by the King of Samaria, so unfortunately that was not a location that he could go to.
The double locked desert map chest. Love to see it.
Alright, 20 rupees though for a payoff. Oh man. Alright, so this is probably a place where Andy's is like, you know what, I'm willing to not spend the key there.
Well, the nice thing is that you do get to at least save the one key, so you don't need to open the other door. It's always nice to have that kind of knowledge when you find a door that you don't have to open.
Yeah, and I think like that's I think that also does alleviate some of the potential like stress, or I have to go find another, you know, Swamp Palace small key. I have to go find another pod key. So
hey,
like
we got that
bomb. You're right. Yeah, I think you were a bit prescient on your you know, predictions. You said that, you know, with those bombs and arrows, let's just go back all the way to Helmasaur. You know what, prdwong, does he already have the Pendant of Courage with him? Because, you know, he's doing this on 4 hearts, green mail, bombs and arrows only. Did a really nice job. Oh my gosh, dude. Resource only Helma fight. In that's good.
Didn't even use the sword. That was impressive. Andy found the castle tower boss there, Aghanim. I don't think we need to defeat Aghanim. It was just Uncle, right? Was that right?
I want to say yes.
On the other hand, though, that could take us to the pyramid, but we've already found it, didn't we? Yeah, that's right.
I think, yeah, Andy was already up there.
Yeah, that's right. Still, it could take us to the Dark World portion of that area, so maybe.
Yeah, that is certainly true. Yeah, I mean, right. So far, you know, again, we're almost at the hour mark.
Okay.
Okay, Andy is really just piling on kind of like some of the major progression items, you know. So Purity Wong certainly does have a sword advantage over Andy, but that Moon Pearl, holy cow, that is a really, really nice advancement for Andy here.
Yeah, and boy, that's a nice item to find anytime, especially when you've been bunny walking so much already.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right. And Purity Wong though has really take very high advantage of the mirror that he has. You see him basically trying to like bunny glitch his way into a lot of the chest cave items. So he hasn't really been missing out on items necessarily per se. But the fact that Andy is now going to be able to also say like dash in the Dark Worlds. Right, whereas Peter Wong still could be, I would say like, well, hopping along in this case is just going to be a little, kind of small incremental time gains that Andy's going to get. Hey, speaking of archery game, that is unfortunately one thing that Purity Wong is not going to be able to do as a bunny.
Yeah, I think he could glitch into it. I don't know if.
Oh, really? Can you do that?
Negates link state or not.
So I think I remember, like, if you try and talk to the chess game guy, like, you can give him money, but you still can't open chests.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So I'm gonna kind of assume that it might be similar, but I guess it's never been verified. Purity Wong looks like he found a connector, Super Bunny side. Not gonna quite go in yet, but at least from our screen, we did see that he ended up draining the dam earlier. A heart container is really nice for him. Trying to, in this case, dash over, but looks like he got a fish in his way instead.
The fish gets in the way.
Too bad it's not Enemizer. Ooh, okay, that's convenient too. No flippers, of course, for Purity Wong, so we can't end up making any more progress.
Well, that was exactly what I was talking about. If he had found that before the flippers, he could have checked out that dungeon, maybe a little bit. Ooh, and that ruby room is blocked by a key for Andy, so he can't get the rubies there.
Yeah, looks like he's not willing to spend his one key yet. Alright, looks like the Purity Wong running through Spiral Cave. I believe this is where Andy got his first bottle as well with the fairy, so this is going to be kind of nice. I don't think the kid had anything, but this is going to be something else that Purity Wong could be able to do.
Yeah, really nice safety, just to help out. Still, 5 hearts is a little scary, but I think it's nothing he can't handle.
Yeah, well, after we saw Purity Wong take down Helmasaur on his set of equipment, not using his sword for hard screen mail, I think Purity Wong that definitely was so it should have been a nice confidence booster for himself.
Definitely, and Andy showing off that bonk as well.
Yeah.
Does he have the big key for this dungeon? Yes, that's one of the only 2 big keys that we have found so far.
Nice. Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is typically speaking a desert palace frozen over.
I love the palettes that you get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With the different dungeons. It's a really nice touch.
The artist changes, just like the graphics and the visuals. I mean, like typically speaking, like sometimes like certainly, especially certain palette shuffles can look a bit jarring or basically look somewhat out of place. The transformations of these rooms, for like their particular themes and dungeons have just been like phenomenal. I mean, they really actually just look like, if you told me that these were actual Ice Palace rooms, I would have believed you, like from the beginning. Alright, Andy, it looks like taking advantage of that mirror, checking out Graveyard Ledge, notably skipping over King's Tomb, even though we can get to it in the light world from the mirror. Again, no real boots yet means that King's Tomb is still logically locked and not accessible to us.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, did we see the Ganon drop down yet? Do we know what's on the pyramid?
I believe we saw the exit on Purity Wong's side. I could not tell you where that actually was.
Yeah, I don't remember which dropdown is missing so far to see if we need to do GT or not. I'm pretty sure we've seen Useless Fairy, so there should be an item, at least, in the pyramid.
Okay. I guess, I'm not sure if have we seen the well? I don't remember either runner going through there and like claiming that, but then again, there's been a lot of activity on the screen.
Andy is heading through, or prdwong is heading through Skull Woods. I think he got that key from Sick Kid and said, yeah, sure. Let's go spend those keys right away.
Yeah, I mean, well,
right back to where he's ready, man.
Alright, looks like Andy, though, found the dam on his own side. Very minor difference, not that prdwong ended up taking and really that many more extra trips to come in here, but, you know, with, of course, the Moon Pearl, means he doesn't have to necessarily, like, kind of, like, mirror glitch his way in.
Yeah, and he can also dash from location to location, which is really nice.
Yeah,
so it's
that's right.
just another advantage.
Yeah. Also, in this case, you know, so prdwong doing Skullwood's torches. You typically see in Misery Mire. That door also was, of course, in this case, like bomb locked.
Yeah, and Andy was actually in here earlier, and I don't think he had bombs for this, so he skipped it. So we'll see if it leads to anything interesting.
Okay.
Well, we know the Mire entrance is useless. Unless you really want that hint.
Yeah, that is true. And of course, yeah, we don't actually have any medallions to our name either, so it's probably going to be, you know, pretty far out for our progression. Yeah, so prdwong also ended up picking up a shovel on his side from the cutscene chest. So I guess that is going to be one thing that he's going to have to go check out again.
A little bit of delayed gratification there to see if that is a major difference or not.
Yeah, and again, you know, so even though like Andy did find the Moon Pearl from pre-mortem, just oh no, prdwong, you know, joining the Fairy Revival Club that seems to, you know, be quite prevalent in many tournaments, did remember, or was at least reminded that there was indeed a fairy in his possession. Yeah, I was gonna say that even though Andy did find the Moon Pearl, you know, in pre-mortem chest earlier, you know, prdwong certainly still has a bit of, you know, some number of basically tricks, right, in order to try and basically, you know, pretend as if he had the Moon Pearl, right? Bunny reviving, mirror glitching, right? The Moon Pearl isn't really slowing him down necessarily, at least in terms of progression and exploration.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure as soon as prdwong picked up that fairy, his mind went to, oh, well, I have the mirror, so I don't need to worry about the fairy with death warping. But, well, you know, sometimes you gotta...
Yeah, that's right.
you gotta money revive in these dungeons. And the fairy doesn't let you get back to Link State, unfortunately.
Yeah. Alright, so, sorry, prdwong also dropping down to try and take Mothula. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I was gonna say, yeah, so that fairy actually would have been, unfortunately, pretty useful. So that was, I mean, but Mothula looks like also he was being pretty aggressive. I should have noted earlier, Andy was there just now, had a really, really nice fighter sword, Mothula,
yeah,
as
that was really impressive, yeah.
I will say though, but so because Andy still has that fairy, I believe, certainly could have been like a different mindset, right? Where you know, if you know that you basically have, you know, more safety to basically play more confidently, more to your comfort level, versus maybe prdwong, who, well, is a little bit more fragile right now.
Yeah, I mean, for these two, I don't think it comes into play too much. For me, definitely, if I have a fairy or a potion, I feel a lot more confident to just go for more dangerous strategies.
Yeah, alright. Second time, of course, is the charm. prdwong doing a really nice job basically taking down Mothula, you know, with, of course, in combination with the Fire Rod as well. Yeah, so alright, so Andy claimed his first crystal, taking down Moth. This, I believe, is PRD's second, because we've already seen him basically take down Helmasaur very impressively.
Yeah, and this dungeon layout is just kind of spaghetti-ish. Both players trying to find their way. prdwong is done. He's had enough of Skullwoods. Let's see what Andy... Maybe Andy might do some drop-downs here, since he does have that Moon Pearl. Doesn't have to do the bunny revival to get those items.
Yeah, and given that Andy is kind of in the Skull Woods, you know, Lost Woods equivalent area, potentially he could take some time to try and... Ooh. Wait. Oh, he's in... Is that Chicken House? But that hits? It said it was a glove is near some poultry.
It could be chicken house. Let's see. I think we've already done tavern. I think it might apply to tavern. I can't think of any other poultry that it could apply
I'm trying to think if there's any place that sells like fish, which, but I guess that wouldn't be poultry either, huh? Alright, that's chicken house. Alright, confirm. It looks like from T2 in chat.
Yeah,
T2 also very accomplished
that
doors runner.
Yeah, we don't know where chicken house is, unfortunately.
Yep, that is true.
Oh, it's a dead end for Andy, so I don't think he can do anything else here. Oh, and the ferry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it looks like though.
Oh, no way. Is this something you can do?
What is Andy in this case trying to do?
I thought he was trying to rail clip into that portal, but maybe not. I guess he was just trying to get out of that room.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is potentially...
I see. So, just trying to save Scum the key in case this didn't turn out to be useful.
Yeah,
Might be interested in keeping that 300.
Yeah, the money is certainly going to be, you know, like, again, in shop sanity, you can never have enough money, in this case. Yeah, looks like though Andy though is looks like he's gonna quit out of Skull Woods at least for the time being. Yeah, it's unfortunately the King of Samaria is right around like the Lost Woods area, and I was wondering if Andy kind of wanted to take you know, Darkwood Portal Mirror over. Looks like it's not gonna quite be on the docket just yet. prdwong though, gonna get to that pearl right real soon. In this case, just now,
right
finally
now.
getting through all the blade beams, anti-fairies, whatever. So that's gonna be really good for him.
Yeah, so it's starting to even up. The big difference is Andy has the flute, and prdwong has the Cane of Samaria. So
all right, we finally have stumbled upon. Yeah, finally stumbled upon a nice shop. We basically are willing to buy a small key to ice and small key to swamp. Should actually have a good number of swamp smalls now. Wait, of course we still need those flippers. We did see on prdwong's side, I think it was like one of the desert entrance like area locations that we were finding.
The Desert Fairy Cave had that.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
The
it's a fairy
Swamp
there.
Lobby.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it was Swamp Palace. I think it was Desert Palace. So you might be able to get in from a different location. I could be mistaken though. Sometimes the L2 and the D2 are hard to separate.
Yeah. All right. Though looks like though prdwong is actually going to take down Aga. Maybe this is going to be his way of landing on the pyramid. We did see Andy kind of like walk over there, but certainly it's not. It's at least going to be able to put him at least like in that portion of the Dark Worlds.
Yeah, I think Andy found a connector up to the castle there, and I don't think he had the hint for that castle tower location. I could be mistaken, but I think prdwong is following up on that hint.
Okay. Meanwhile, what are we gonna find in Dig Game after many digs so far? Not even worth Andy's time.
No, there's got enough rupees from the rest of the digging, so he's good. The Tower of Hera, and it's a pendant. So I don't know when we picked up that map, but yeah, cool. We almost have complete knowledge of the dungeon layout. Oh, wait, there's Andy could get that big chest drop down from above. We do have the big key for this dungeon. That could be interesting.
I think Andy would really appreciate some boots. I mean, I'm sure prdwong also appreciates some boots too. But you know, given that Andy looks like he has been potentially, if he had some boots, he could try to, I guess, maneuver his way over. So it could be something more beneficial for him. Alright. So prdwong taking advantage of his pyramid landing, going to go check out, got his hype cave items. Okay, so we have exit or connector through the original castle tower. Andy, though, taking on Mothula, still on Fighter Sword, you know, and being a very accomplished NMG runner. Of course, he does have to cape out just to make sure no mishaps happen, but I think he's pretty confident in this fight.
Yeah, I think he's done this a few times.
Yeah.
Alright, and prdwong gonna give us some new things. We'll see what Andy does with this Tower of Hera. It might, has access to a lot of staircases, so he'll probably go back to that boss room and drop down.
Oh, right, yeah. So of course, another, I would say, the feature indoors is that, so the doors, I guess, like, sets are more, like, on super tiles, and sometimes, like, rooms that are connected, top and bottom aren't always connected to the same super tile, so that is something that I guess to be kind of mindful about in this case when you are exploring a place such as, well, in this case, what Andy's going to show us right now is sometimes you need to purposely fall in order to try and explore somewhere else.
Yeah, the things that isn't randomized is where you drop down from floors. So the Tower of Hera will always have the main tower section. It's just the basement and that can sometimes be randomized into other dungeons. But that's a good hint, actually. The Hammer Pegs has a shop in there.
Yeah, meanwhile, the prdwong finding... Ooh, alright, so he found Mini Molten Cave, which is basically, yeah, like a treasure trove. He found so much money, and he also found the flippers. Alright, so actually, this is actually gonna be a completely new check because he, so I don't think Andy has actually gone over to the pod area yet. So this is gonna be like a nice answer. Yeah,
so far this is the, defeating Aga is the only way to get over here. And with those flippers especially, that's just, one less way that we can reach this section of the map.
Yeah, so prdwong probably noting down that he does have to come back to Dark Blue Spot 5 because, again, no real boots means that that small key that's sitting on top of the library is not accessible to us. Andy going through Castle Tower, or at least a Dark Maze of Castle Tower.
Castle Tower is one of the worst places to go backwards through. There are a number of rooms where there's these blocks that you have to move. You have to remember to slide them over to open the door at the front.
Yeah, I'm not even...
Because ordinarily, they lock behind you.
Yeah, because like normally, even I would say like in a casual or like, you know, maybe just got started with the randomizer, there are just these like little things that, you know, if you only just do the room like, you know, front to back, like you just don't really ever notice or realize that that's even a thing until you have to basically do the room backwards. You're just like, how do I get out of this room? Or how does like the door open?
Oh, I didn't see when Andy... Oh yeah, he did pick up the shovel, that's right. He went back through that,
oh yeah,
through that Meyer Torches room.
Alright, so, prdwong back in Slug's room, very much better equipped this time around, blue mail, master sword as opposed to the, 4 hearts green mail, I don't know, 2 bombs or something that he had before. Alright, gonna take down land mode. Looks like we can do the kind of traditional, like, fire rod approach. Wow, really nicely done.
Yeah, really nice one cycle there. And a crystal. Oh, we knew that already. My bad.
Oh, no, we're all good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so I think both of us ended up talking to, you know, the bomb shop guy, found out that Desert and Thiefstown are red crystals today. Of course, you know, got all, you know, Relkin keeping track of everything for us, you know, really basically helping everyone out here.
Yeah, and here's our first really massive dungeon of the game. Swamp Palace has 19.
19? Jeez. Alright. Yeah, actually, like, so do you maybe have a sense of, like, how big, or small, I guess, like, the dungeons, like, how many items could be in dungeons? I've definitely seen, I think was there, like, a seed 1 week where there was, like, 50-something items in one? I want to say I've seen something, like, pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's about somewhere around 70 items that are in caves. So I think that leaves the rest to be in dungeons or map
Okay.
items. So yeah, there's several hundred items, or 150 or so.
That's a lot of items.
In the dungeons, and not every item's in it. At least. The boss is always drops an item, so you can kind of get a feel for how big the dungeons can be, and whether or not it's really big or not.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, because I think even like for like regular key sanity, or cross keys, right? I think like pod is like 14. That's already considered to be pretty big, but yeah, like 19 is definitely kind of exceeded a lot of item counts here. Andy finding a book. That's gonna be, I guess, it's still pretty early, I would say, right in the series, so hasn't really gone over to like ether tablet area. Oh my gosh, the lag, dude.
Yeah, I think the tablets are both available. Desert is available, and we could even read the pedestal if either of our racers are inclined.
Yeah, one thing of note though, so prdwong, we actually do see that there is a very major sword difference. Andy does have the book. He cannot claim anything off of the tablets if he goes over there. prdwong though, with that master sword, he can basically claim whatever prize there is.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Andy can read the item, but can't claim the item.
Yeah, I do like actually how, so typically speaking, when you do that room forwards, right, Ice Palace bomb jump room, is just going to be like a key door. In this case, Andy doing it backwards was also a bomb lock door, so you kind of had to like scooch himself like to the right, most possible pixel in order to try and not get like the bomb, like explosion ricochet. Alright, unfortunately, no big key. So, typically speaking, it looks like I think that is something that we're kind of used to in this case. Like when you ended up killing the ball and chain guard, trying to get all the way down to Zelda Cell, hey, look, it's the big key to this dungeon. Well, not yours.
Yeah, just gotta make a note of it, right? And hope you remember.
Yeah, so let me add that one note to like the 50 other notes that I've been taking about this scene, and hopefully, one of them will be on the forefront of my mind when I go over to that area. Alright, so at this point, we still have no hammer. We still have no glove. Either of them, by the way. We do have, I think, we saw at least one gloved hint, but still, we still need actually quite a bit, I would say, more exploration in order to get some more accessibility for the rest of our entrances.
And that glove hint was basically, the glove exists.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's not
right.
in a dungeon.
That's right. Yeah, because I think it said that the glove hint was it was next to some poultry, and so we're assuming, confirmed I think in chat that it was chicken house. But well, until you find chicken house, you're not gonna get that glove. Did something happen? Alright, so Andy, it looks like he's dropping down on Super Bunny Cave. Alright, a little bit more resources to his name.
Did prdwong reset?
Yeah, there was something
Did he pick
about
up the flute?
It looks like maybe it was just a reset, or maybe he ended up clicking a different button, because like his screen definitely went black and he was loading up another save, like he was loading up a file again.
I guess he wanted to keep the key? I guess? I'm not sure.
Yeah, gonna have to probably see what ends up happening. He is back in GT. All right, so at least he's like, maybe he just ended up having like a very slight, I guess, like hiccup or something before, I guess, like making his way back over here. Yeah, but yeah, this at least is gonna be. Yeah, I was gonna say, at least it's gonna be really good news, you know, for prdwong because, well, at least it's gonna be his flute. He might feel slightly, you know, not great just because he was, you know, here, I don't know, like 40 minutes ago or something like that, where he basically, you know, could have had the flute, but, you know, all things considered, it hasn't really, you know, I would say, like, slowed him down all that much.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. I think he's been keeping up pretty well without it. But the book has led to Eastern Palace, and it's a tiny dungeon. It's so small.
Yeah. Yeah, getting a lot of good things right. So actually, just in terms of, you know, item differences now, though, I think Andy is actually the one now that needs to eventually go over to the Lost Woods area and pick up his Cane of Samaria. I mean, it's not that, again, like, it's, prdwong has been used in the Cane of Samaria to some. Certainly has still found, you know, some good progression. But again, you know, not having the flute on prdwong's side hasn't really slowed him down. Andy not having the Cane of Samaria hasn't really slowed him down. These guys have still lots of things that are still available and open to them.
Yeah, this Eastern Palace is a little scary. We've found all the items except the boss, but there's one more key, and we haven't spent any yet. We might need both keys. We might even still need the big key to get to the boss. Oh, well, there, we can save that key. So never mind.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I guess like the refill room in this case was actually a key door, as opposed to, I guess just like a bot door.
I think prdwong is trying to find the last items in GT, maybe try to find Aga 2 as well. Oh, he's found the switch so he can pick up this one item here. That was a long trek to get this.
Yeah, just for some bombs. I think that given where Andy is starting in Eastern Palace, another, I would say, well, no, I guess you can't even get that chest right now, just because there was a very slight difference, I guess, in terms of how well that chest is guarded from the left side.
Yeah, what started as a pretty simple dungeon, I think became somewhat complex.
Yeah, the path to I guess the last bits of the dungeon seems actually to be quite long in this case. It's like every single room you're like, is this gonna be like the last room? It's like, nope, it just kind of keeps going. Again, this is just one of these other things that even though I guess necessarily like the item counts can be low, not necessarily indicative of how big or how many screens or rooms the dungeon actually has. Alright, so on Aga 2, which is, in this case, after he finishes, is going to be 4 more Aghanims that he has fought over Andy's 0.
Well, the goal is usually to fight 0, but sometimes you do have to fight them, right?
That is true. So, yeah, so far at least, I think, at least in order to get to, like, the pod area, so far it looks like to kill Aga 1 is our only ticket over there, but of course, there is still lots of connectors and methods in order to get over there as well.
Alright, and we found the Armos Knights. No big key required, just needed the one small key. Dungeon is full cleared, we don't have to worry about this ever again.
Nice. And it's a crystal to boot, so we're all good to go. Andy's making, you know, some pretty good progress. I believe this is his 2nd crystal.
Yeah, right, that's prdwong has 3, so it's 2 to 3.
Nice. Alright. Oh, alright. Finally. Looks like actually we need all 4 Agas today. We just found the well here in behind Aghanim 2, and you know what? The well has our first glove.
Yeah, with the well there, it wouldn't surprise me if Andy goes there pretty quickly. It's just, it also, instead of beating Aga to get over to the East Dark World area, he could just beat Aga 2 to get there, and it'd be just
Oh yeah,
just
that's
as
true.
easy.
That is true. You bring a very excellent observation that it doesn't matter which Aga you kill, you'll always land on the pyramid. It just happens to be that you kind of want to, maximize your value and get, 3 for the price of 1 in this case. So you at least get that glove alongside with the rest of your access.
Yeah, so I wonder what this glove, what we're gonna do with it. Could there's a number of rocks that we can lift, and with the flippers we can go to the Dark World shopping mall in the southeast corner of the map there. That's 3 easy dungeons that we can get to. And,
yeah.
I'm not sure, but have we seen the Ice Rod Cave area yet? Maybe we haven't.
Yeah, no, I actually want to say, I don't actually think we've seen that from either side, and this is actually going to be Andy being reminded he doesn't actually have flippers quite yet, but yeah, actually, so with the glove, with, with, in this case, like the flute and the mirror, wondering actually if that was actually going to be an option for Andy. Alright,
yeah. Without that
looks...
glove, can't get to Catfish. And actually, without the hammer or the glove, he can't actually get anywhere else in this area. Because he can't lift up the rocks or hammer the pegs.
Yeah, and I don't know necessarily, I guess, if Andy, wants to do this, but, given that he is kind of in the, he looks like he is at least headed on his way to Catfish, does have the mirror, so if he wants to, spend 500 rupees over there at, the Zora area as well after Catfish, that is going to be another option to him.
Yeah, and that's a big hint there. Catfish, or, sorry, not Catfish. The Cracked Floor is in Thieves Town itself, so, you don't need to hunt for that today. At least not until you find Thieves Town. Okay.
Alright, Andy is showing us a bit more of some flipper tech. This is also something else I think that people were potentially wondering about is with the glove, with the mirror, Andy can take the big flipper basically into this portal, and now he can do some very efficient combination of entrance exploring, do Dark World Shopping Mall, mirror over, and do Ice Rock Cave area.
Okay, here we go.
All right, Chicken House. This is going to be our other. So Andy, I think it was the one who actually read the head, so he's going to be very happily to be found his glove, which is actually not the one behind the well. Now, would you spend the time to buy 20 rupees for 20 rupees?
For the memes, it could be worth it.
prdwong probably is thinking, you know what, I'm up against Andy. I could probably make do without that 20 rupees and the extra time spent.
Andy throws the bottle in and gets a B. Just a B. Oh, and prdwong is dashing with the old man. That's meme worthy.
Maybe he just wants to see some dust. We're still missing our boots actually, and this is actually like almost hour and a half in. It's one of those. I know those pseudo boots can sometimes be polarizing in terms of just opinions about them, but given that we have gone this far without boots, certainly it's going to be very nice to have that speed and movement for at least as long as we have.
Oh, definitely. Not having boots, this seed, who knows how long it would have taken to get to where we are right now, right?
Yes. Yeah, especially with all like the dungeon explorations, all of the bunny walking, all of the not bunny walking, but like all of, like the overall movement, just all of these things, add up. prdwong, I was gonna say, so because of his, I think partly hiding so much money basically throughout the seed, he is more than willing to basically spend some of it and actually buy a potion just for some more safety.
And he used it immediately and then bought another one. So just really nice safety to pick up for sure.
Yeah, Andy being reminded that we still don't have boots yet. We need to still use some of our hard-earned bombs. Oh no, prdwong unfortunately got a little bit hung up with those tektites, so lost his super speed movement there. Alright, so this is going to be good for Andy, though, being over after he had basically current jumped over to the East Dark World area, so he's going to be able to also explore out Pod.
Yeah, he'll
and can
get,
pick up his clippers
Yep,
right
yep,
here.
exactly. Yeah, so we're just kind of retracing the opponent's footsteps right now. Gonna be interesting to see what each player decides to do after this.
Yeah, I mean, right. So, like, I would say, like, with the exception of some of the rooms in, pod, like, for at least like the TR main like Samaria switch room, that's not really like accessible for Andy. Andy probably is going to be able to, yeah, like they have like tons of stuff like basically open to them. Yep. Andy also remembering, just like prdwong when he came here, I don't know, like half an hour ago, still no real boots, so can't get that small key. It looks like it's going to be remaining a mystery to us until, well, it could be until the end of the game, or whenever. In this case, we end up picking up real boots.
Yeah, that key could be, sometimes the dungeon is just locked by a single key in the lobby, and you just need to get it. So who knows?
Yeah. I will say that at least like from the
We got a map check there from prdwong. We have our complete crystal information.
Nice. Alright, so it looks like, yeah, so Ruckin's already on top of things, marking down, looks like Ice Palace, and I think we already knew from Andy's side that Tower of Hera was our other pendant, along with, of course, Swamp Palace, which was, I think, people talked to Sahashima before, we should knew that. So we got, both runners are making, like, significantly good progress toward their crystal goals, but I think we still have still quite a lot to do. Andy and prdwong have found different gloves. Andy found his in the chicken hut, and prdwong found his behind Aghanim 2 in the well. Not sure, I guess, in this case, if myths are explicitly needed yet, but we're still missing, for example, where's our hammer?
Yeah, well, the hammer may not be necessary. The Cold Stare is not necessarily.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Cold Stare is a pendant. We do know this.
Yeah, and looks like we need to find the Misery Mire entrance and the Thieves Town entrance at least. I think we found an entrance at least to everything else. Not sure if we found all the TR entrances or all the desert entrances. And Andy heading right back to Catfish.
Yeah. I mean, this, certainly, from his perspective, just based on his route, going over to Dark Shopping Mall and Ice Rock Cave area first, right? There were 6 entrances there, very, efficient and dense for him. And he also demonstrating, again, that we still don't have real boots, so we can't actually do anything about Bonk Rocks quite yet.
And here comes the big fish. Gives us 50 bucks.
Andy is so rich. He doesn't even need that 50 rupees at this point. Especially, actually, interesting, I guess, non-pickup, just because he is going to spend it at Sora. I was actually going to say that based on the shops that we've seen so far, while there hasn't been that many, just really seem to really lock, I guess, like, too many, like, real, like, big-ticket things so far. So at least I haven't had to spend as much money in shops.
And hey, here's that swamp lobby from the other direction.
Nice.
Well, that's a pretty nice hit.
Alright, another pod key. I think I did take a sneak peek on what was on Zora Ledge. It was some amount of rupees, but yeah, certainly at this point it's not going to be worth Andy's time.
Yeah, no, he has enough rupees to still buy an item, maybe 2, depending on what they are.
Yeah, Andy, not even going to pick up that heart container. He is, looks like he is pretty well stocked at this point.
Yeah, it looks like he's entrance hunting, wants to put that glove to the most use that he can.
Oh, look, it's a vanilla 50 rupee cave that both runners ended up exploring pretty much at the same time, and well, on different gloves. And you guys just see that there are some extra security around prdwong's 50 rupee cave because he had defeated Aghanim 1 and Andy had not. it's like the same and yet different at the same time. It's actually kind of cute.
Alright, looks like Andy is back in GT. He's probably really interested in getting to the well, and he'll probably pick up mitts after this.
Mm-hmm.
And prdwong not looping in Dark World Shopping Center with the Ice Rod Cave area, so we'll see if he gets to those mitts pretty soon or not. He can get there pretty easily just by warping from the castle.
Yeah. And I believe it was prdwong who ended up getting the Ice Palace hint, where I think it was just, I don't know what it is, maybe a ferry or something, so he knows he doesn't have to come back to this area.
Yeah, I think the Ice Palace entrance is a boring house.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was something that wasn't ever going to lead to anything that was important, like not even a hint. So I think I just put it out of my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, the Misery Mire entrance is a hint.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Andy. Actually, very similar to prdwong earlier, making very, very fast work of Aghanim. So this might be a speed, like the setup, the whole Aghanim's on Andy's side. But this is going to be, of course, good news for him. He is going to be, in this case, upgraded with his gloves very shortly here with the Titan Smiths. He's going to be granted a little bit more access over prdwong.
Yeah, I think my first play would be either the Mire area. I think there's a connector to the east Death Mountain, but only the bottom, so probably not as attractive. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where he goes.
Yeah, and I think in this case, like, so with those myths, I think what's like Smith Chain is open. King's Tomb technically, I guess, is, well, it was open before, but again, no boots. Well, still waiting in order to be able to bog for real.
Where are they?
Yeah, that's at least, you know, we have pseudo boots. We can go fast because, again, after an hour and a half of just, you know, walking, really makes you want to get those boots sooner or later. You know, and do appreciate Andy's picking up, you know, the upper earlier rock in order to get to the back of the stage just a little bit faster.
Alright, so Andy back in Hyrule Castle, save scums that key, and that's it. That was a really quick check for a really easy save scum, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Alright, so, maybe prdwong want another potion?
I think he thought maybe he had turned in the mushroom. Not sure.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think I remember him going into this. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Oh, dude! Alright, Andy! Finally picking up or finding a shop that is actually ridiculously good. Swamp Palace Big Key, Swamp Palace Small Key. Most importantly, we found the hammer here in Mire Shed.
Yeah, so unless one of those other two entrances is a transition, it looks like those mitts are pretty required.
Mm-hmm.
Or unless somehow the hammer isn't necessary to beat the secret. It's looking like it is.
Yeah, even if it's not, you know, strictly necessary, you know, like logically, like that hammer makes things so convenient, right? You can basically now, you know, Andy has basically like every, you know, nice, like convenient method, you know, to Dark World, to basically anywhere he wants to go in either world at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I think the big ticket item we're missing is Hookshot. Just have no idea where that is.
Yeah.
Another big key, but not sure if we need it.
Yeah, so Andy is, well, both Andy and prdwong, looking for Hookshot. Of course, prdwong knows that he needs to go over to Chicken House in order to go get the mist, which presumably then will basically unlock the Mire area. He can get his hammer. Yeah, so based on, you know, also, like, chat has been kindly enough to remind us that Turtle Rock is, of course, a crystal. Are gonna have to find that ice rod. I would like to say that ice rods aren't as common indoors, but you know, ice rods can take many forms. Hopefully, it won't end up being too bad. I guess at the end.
Yeah, well, we need at a minimum the Thieves Town Big Key,
Yes.
the hookshot, the ice rod, and so far, I think that's all that we know. We might need some more keys, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is also one of those things where, you know, it's just because of the nature of how the dungeons are randomized. Not quite always sure exactly how many keys you need, right? Can never have enough, but it's not as, I guess, I only need, you know, definitively 5 items more until go mode.
Oh, and Ralkin, thank you, our tracker, pointing out we don't necessarily need the hookshot, because a Swamp Palace is a pendant, so probably don't.
That is also a very good observation.
Thank you.
I guess TBD whether or not we also still need boots. You know, we did see a couple of I think things that are still locked by boots. Like for example, like library has a small key that we're definitely going to need. Kingston potentially. We haven't actually seen that entrance yet. But still, that's a little bit probably farther out on the priority chain. All right, Andy ended up also just remembering that there is, in fact, a shop in Paradox Cave. Sometimes, well, depending on whether or not you've gotten burned by that shop before, is actually a thing. So nice of Andy to kind of like show us that. He didn't end up picking up powder for us. So if you ever go visit Magic Bat, that is going to be another check available to you.
Oh, and one of the features is that we do randomize the number of crystals to enter GT. And it looks like we need 5, so I think, yeah, desert, if Andy were to do desert and pod, he'd still need 1 more. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It's,
yeah, and it's just, yeah. Yeah, actually, Andy, checking Ether Tablet, looks like it was I want to say as a compass to find to Ice Palace, reminding us that, well, he still can't get the compass because he hasn't visited, what was it, like Laser Bridge, that room in order to get his Master Sword that prdwong has. Yeah, so there's actually going to be another, well, in this case, not as subtle equipment difference between Andy and prdwong.
Yeah, I'm still impressed at how even this has been so far. I think Andy's got a little bit of an entrance advantage here, but item-wise, both players keeping fairly on pace.
Yeah, I mean, so right, so we know that Andy, well, ended up getting the mitts, which of course led to his hammer. So certainly he does have those 2 items going for him. Purity, although the looks like because Andy is so much more open to him, that the likelihood of him going back over to the Lost Woods area to pick up that King of Samaria is probably not as high on the priority list. prdwong, though, on the other hand, so like definitely needs, well, in this case, he needs kind of like the miss in order to kind of to kind of even himself up a bit with Andy in order to get the hammer as well.
Yeah, and this Thieves Town find is pretty big for Andy right now. Does not have the big key though, so can't complete the dungeon. But might find the cracked floor, might find some where the boss is to see how many keys he needs to get to it.
Yeah, it's Thieves Town indoors is always really interesting, just because you know when you pick up the bait, you kind of get to see how long of an escort mission you're really gonna take for her. All right, meanwhile, though, prdwong is also traversing his way, you know, kind of pretty much following in Andy's footsteps when he was over here before. Looks like he is basically, well, traversing his way backwards in this case through Hera.
Yeah, probably we'll get these items and see how far he can get with that single key. I think this is I don't remember I don't think Andy had the flippers here, so I don't think he got this item. At least.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, because Andy was definitely here before, and yeah, before Flipper. So this is actually going to be some new checks for us. No.
Just some arrows though, so
Nope.
no help. All right, this Thieves Town is pretty interesting. Lots of the places to go so far, and I think Andy's being pretty thorough with his choices here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so also really nice execution in this room as well. That hammer hit was actually extremely well placed in order to take down both those guards.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I'm not sure. He probably spent that key hoping to find the maiden cell. He found the GT Mimics room instead, and decides to leave that for now. So I thought we found the maiden cell already. Yeah, maybe we had. It gets so confusing sometimes.
Yeah, keeping track of these dungeons is I mean it is a skill in it itself. I think especially when people I think were first starting out to play Doors, it was like you're playing almost like two games, you know, together. One to actually like beat the game itself to get all the crystals, and one is actually to was map tracking. Andy finding another shop here in Dark Death Mountain, which he ended up picking up bombos. Certainly going to be really nice.
It looked like he wanted to pick up that bottle with the red potion in it, but with only 500 rupees, you know, that might be an item that you couldn't buy if you buy that potion. So
yeah,
pretty interesting to see the decision making.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you might think the 500 rupees sounds like a lot of money. It really does depend on, well, how much things are in the shops and where you end up finding them. You really don't want to be in a position where you find a shop along your exploration path, especially if it's far out and you don't, and there's not like a good way to get back there, and you have to basically come back because you were too poor to buy everything that you needed.
Yeah, definitely. The ice rod or the hook shot that are still out there. Or, you know, for Andy, the Cane of Samaria, or even the boots, could cost up to 500 rupees, and he doesn't want to miss out on that if he finds it.
Alright, Andy, though, making his way back over to Desert, so this is another crystal pickup for Andy. So he still hasn't completed Palace of Darkness, for, you know, that prdwong had expertly shown us with his only bombs and arrows on 4 hearts green mail. So certainly not, but still making very, very good progress.
Oh, Andy using bombos to clear out the slugs.
I think that is good. Yeah, it's good buyer's value, right? You know, I bought bombos, I'm gonna go use it.
Yeah, those slugs are a pain to clear out, especially if I think his best weapon is the hammer or the fire rod right now.
Yeah, that's right. Again, this is going to be another reminder. You know, Andy is still on Fighter Sword compared to prdwong's Master Sword, which I believe he had when he was trying to kill off the slugs. So, yeah, definitely going to be a nice time saver. Really heads up, actually, on Andy's. To actually just even realize that, hey, I have a medallion. This is going to go much faster for me.
Yeah, prdwong is maybe catching up a little bit, getting through this Swamp Palace area. And... yeah, just looking to catch up probably and maybe shrink this lead that Andy seems to have right now.
Yeah, oh, alright. Unfortunately, got blocked by the hammer.
Yeah, Andy found that earlier. I wonder if he remembers it and wants to go back there pretty soon. I don't know. Oh, the last item in Desert, so another dungeon that Andy can just check off and say, that's done. I don't need to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, it's, being able to check off dungeons like this is just it's just a nice peace of mind.
Oh, and prdwong showing off that, yeah, you can throw that bomb to flip the crystal switches, and that is in logic.
Dude,
that is something that you might be expected to do. to make progress.
That is really cool. In order to see that.
Unfortunately, there's orange pegs there, so he needs to have it be the other way.
Andy, finding basically gauntlet rooms here in Pod. So despite that he is on Fighter Sword, I think he feels pretty comfortable doing this.
Yeah, he's going hammer gauntlet. No thanks. I think I'll pull out that bombos.
Yeah, it's almost as if this is basically Enemizer. He is taking full advantage of those spikes, knowing in this case that he can basically slash the enemies in them, and basically just killing them one shot. So this is gonna be good news for Andy, because we saw prdwong coming here earlier. This is where he's gonna pick up his Master Sword. Alright, prdwong though, taking no liberties, I guess, with that ball and chain guard. Unfortunately, also still does not have the big key to, in this case, Desert, so can't actually get through that door and claim what's in cell to cell.
Yeah, taking a few slashes on that ball and chain guard, and then just bring out the fire rod. That'll finish it up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Andy has more keys here. I remember the south portion of that hallway had 2 key doors, so I think...
Oh, right. Yeah.
But also just... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, I think like both runners ended up coming to Pod like pretty early, right? And we definitely saw very notable pauses from both of them, basically deciding what they were gonna do with their one key when they were faced with like 3 different, options at that point.
Yeah, so coming back here with more keys can get to more of the dungeon. Nope. We do have the big key, so that's also... Yeah, that'll just leave one item. I don't know if Andy has found all the items or not, but with between the boss and the one item left, that's all that remains in Pod for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think that might be the item. He just has to get to it from the other direction.
Alright, prdwong though, kind of finishing up at least some portions of Swamp. Unfortunately, that last key that he spent was just, was a branch he no longer needs to traverse. But looks like though this might be more overworld for prdwong. I was actually wondering if he was going to go over to like the Dark Shopping Mall area, because he does still have those flippers and the mirror. Looks like he is more interested in maybe doing, looks like there's a Bombos tablet check.
Yeah, and that hammer fight on Helmasaur King was really clean from Andy. It's super fun to watch.
Yeah. It's certainly not as, creative, I would say, as, prdwong's version of just bombs and arrows, but, obviously Andy, has extremely, obviously one of the best execution players in the world.
Yeah, and NMG practice coming in handy, not just, Moldorm and Helmasaur King now. Pretty much vanilla.
Always actually really cool to be able to see NMG popping up here every now and then, especially in a mode like Doors, right? Just because everything is so randomized, you really don't know when you're gonna get to what, and yet, we got to see some nice throwbacks.
Yeah, sometimes, getting through those boss fights is just, it's a little bit of a reward in itself, even if you could have come back later.
Alright, Andy here in Lost Woods. So this is going to be, assuming he finished up like the rest of this area, maybe this is what was the Magic Bat in Cloud. It kind of brought him back over to this area. So assuming he kind of finishes up this place, he is going to be able to get his King Samaria.
Yeah, and we've not, I think there are a number of rooms left that require Samaria, at least the TR Torches room. So it could be a big important item.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's like prdwong has found his way over to Eastern Palace. So presumably, I think he's going to be able to get through and full clear this place just like Andy did as well. never mind. Andy, oh, maybe this is gonna be a quick check over to Potion Shop. I was gonna say, he could have stayed over in Lost Woods area just a little bit longer. Looks like that Kingdom Safari is gonna be slightly further delayed on his side.
Yeah, he might be putting off, I think it was the Turtle Rock dungeon, so maybe he's putting it off till Ice Rod, maybe he's putting it off till he finds a different entrance, maybe he just forgot that was there.
Let's hope that it's not the latter. Forgetting is really dangerous in Dorando. Just because, I mean, when you well, you have so many more options. Yeah.
And very easy.
Oh, okay. All right. Andy's gonna do hammer pegs. Presumably it's gonna be a combination with the smith's chain. I've got a hint for this. I think at some point. Just don't remember quite where it is. But it's gonna be a shop.
A shop.
Okay. Cool.
And we know that the purple chest is a heart piece, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. prdwong. I did Andy also get that hint? I definitely remember prdwong reading it.
I think so it was early enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but we'll see.
All right. So I mean, so if ended up Andy got that hint, then he only needs to do basically just rescue the smith, which is quite convenient since he has the hint.
Yeah, we have all the tools to rescue the smith really easily. Just have to remember where the smith's house was. I think it was Sanctuary, maybe?
Well, I think Andy probably knows where this is. It's just going to be maybe in Light World.
It looks like it's a lumberjack, possibly.
All right. So okay, so not terribly far away in this case. But unfortunately, it is one of those locations where, well, in this case, Pseudo Boots is going to, shine once again, just because you are going to have to, walk or, well, run, dash your way up there. Flute isn't really going to help that much.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Flute might help you, might not help you too much, especially with transitions and stuff. Sometimes if you get a really convenient transition, you don't even need to take Dark World portals.
Yeah, that's true. All right, prdwong taking down Armos. Very nicely done, claiming his next crystal. I think this is, finally, for I think many of us, Andy here is finally back into the rest of Turtle Rock and has found his King of Samaria.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if this led to Trinex or maybe some important item. But,
hey, speaking of hook shots, so Andy, of course, no boost, no hook shot, does not mean that he is out of options. This is something that, well, good thing he has a bunch of bombs.
Yeah, that bomb jump's a little tricky to set up. He has to get to the correct vertical pixel there. Did he, Oh, I see. He's in the other room.
It's the other room in this case. I think Andy probably also did the exact same thing. He's like, wait, isn't there supposed to be something here? It's like, oh yeah, it's another pot. Doors, by the way, it was budgeted with key drop. Really, it does reward you or extremely punish you if you don't know where basically where all of like the pots that have items are. I think for example, like if there happens to be, let's say, a sword under that pot where Andy found the King of Samaria, that can hinder your offensive power for quite a bit if you don't ever realize that there was something there.
Yeah, definitely. Really nice, clean. Spinning off the ledges there to set up these bomb jumps from Andy. That's impressive.
Yeah, Andy, yeah, it looks, yeah, I mean, Andy has demonstrated, time and time again, especially, even for this seed alone, that he is extremely resourceful. He can basically get through any situation on, like, almost anything that's available to him.
prdwong cleaning up catfish here probably will go to Zora if he hasn't done it yet.
I think in this case, I think they both ended up buying
you're
something
right.
off of Zora. Yeah, so if he just wants to check out catfish, not even to pick up the 50 rupees. Unfortunately, yeah, he's getting a little bit bullied here trying to get out.
Yeah, and Andy found Trinex there that when you get the compass for a dungeon, you get that little red flashing dot when you're in the room next to the boss room. So Andy knows that it's in the upper left side of that pod lobby room there.
some of the features, just like visually speaking, I would say for door seats, like I would say like the global item counter, that little red flashing thing that basically tells you like, oh, the boss is in the basically like next door or like in the upcoming room. Is those really nice quality life improvements. I think like for people who are playing the scene.
Oh yeah, and a lot of them are optional too. So if you don't want the item counter, you don't have to use it. I like it a lot. Just helps you know how close you are to really clearing out the game.
Yeah, that's
how
right.
unlucky you've gotten, stuff like that.
Knowledge is supposed to be helpful and is supposed to be more empowering in this case, right? In theory,
Exactly.
of course. All right.
And
Yes. All right. So yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, finally, like as Chad also is pointing out, prdwong finally be able to get his mitts, which is going to give him access to the Meyer area, which of course that's where Andy in Meyer Shed found a shop where he was able to buy his hammer.
Yeah, and Andy gets all the medallions, so I think he already knew that Misery Mire was a hint. Didn't care to get the hint, and yeah, now has all the medallions, so whatever Turtle Rock was, I think it was Quake, actually, but I don't remember for sure.
Yeah, alright, so yeah, with the miss pickup, prdwong beelining it straight over to the Meyer area. He knows that this is going to be one of the most lucrative spots to open up, and hey, look at that. Thank you that we have so much money. He is going to pick up his hammer, his big key to swap, and small key to ice.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me at all that he goes right over here. It's a super dense location. He's gonna get rewarded for it as well. So where do you think that ice rod is? Which dungeon do you think it's in?
That's a great question. I mean, is it in Turtle Rock? Is that? I mean, it's somewhat like a meme for every other mode, but I don't think it's quite doors. But I don't know. I guess I wouldn't necessarily be surprised to see it there.
Oh, there's that extra Eastern Palace key, so we can go open the refill room.
Oh, great. Yeah. Yeah, both runners, of course, Andy and prdwong have already done this. Yeah, the likelihood of them actually, going back to Eastern Palace is next to nothing.
Yeah, there's no reason to go back there.
Alright, Anthony here looks like, back over to East Death Mountain, so presumably he is going to go over to the Dark Worlds. Maybe at least finish up some of these entrances up here.
It looks like he's back in Thieves Town. He's hungry for more.
Oh, that's right, we ended up picking up, yeah. Keys. Yeah, more keys means more access. Oh, alright, prdwong, actually, yes. I was like, wasn't he already here? He was actually not over here before. We saw this on Andy's side. This is where Andy also bombed open this location and picked up his powder. I believe we saw that it was, I think, just 10 arrows or something. Yeah. Also not the incentive necessarily for prdwong to do anything, because he already ended up picking up his Cane of Samaria out of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, not too much on Magic Bat, and prdwong actually save scummed his mushroom, so he didn't really care about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. I did forget about that.
But this is what Andy wanted the key for, and he needs another key if he wants to get the maiden. So he'll probably be a little hesitant. Oh, he just missed that door.
So close! Oh my gosh, I don't know if he was. It looked like what, 1 pixel away. He almost spit that key. Another very strong display of execution. I mean, not that like that is. It was very, very impressive to be able to stop on a dime like that.
And finds the cracked floor. So now, if he does find that big key and the boss room, still a lot of work to do in this dungeon, isn't there?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, the prdwong just making his way into Thieves Town himself, and so he's basically going to go over some of the same stuff that Andy has. Ooh, picking up Tempered Sword here in Thieves Town. It's going to be really nice for Andy and suited prdwong.
Yeah, always nice to find the DM room. lots of items for little effort. And it looks like that. Oh, I think we've seen this from the other side, so I think that key is a little bit of a waste.
I'm sure there's another, Thieves Town key out there somewhere, right?
Oh, there has to be. There has to be. You know that key, that door though that leads to Moldorm 2 is oftentimes you think it's a staircase and it's actually a north-south facing door. So sometimes that can trip people up.
Alright. So Relkin, our tracker, pointing out that actually so prdwong visited Bombo's tablet earlier with the Master Sword course. I don't think Andy's actually been over there yet, but he does have an extra Thieves Town small.
Oh, so he should pick that up pretty soon anyway. So it shouldn't be a problem. prdwong is coming in here with a couple keys as well, so we'll see how far he gets. Maybe he gets that tempered sword.
Yeah. Right now, I was actually wondering, we had actually gone for pretty long, basically only on, Andy was on Fighter Sword for a vast majority of the game. prdwong ended up getting Master Sword pretty significantly further, but again, it's like we can go fight Ganon on Master Sword, but, Temper Sword would certainly be very nice to have. Certainly would alleviate some pressure if we basically never see Silver for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and ooh, that's a handy pickup, even if it's not strictly required. The red mail for Andy.
Yeah.
And prdwong finds that big key locked mimic room as well. So that's another side of the dungeon. Might lead to the boss room, actually. Alternatively, maybe the hookshot leads to the boss room.
Yeah, alright, speaking of another potential item we do need to find, yeah. So Andy came over here, well, at least just most recently on the left side. Here he was showing us the right side. Oh, speaking of silvers.
Yeah, silvers and the TR big key, nice. Was that the basement hint that we got for the TR big key?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, that's right. It is actually the basement of Blind's Hut that actually has all of the items. How convenient that the Thieves Town big key is in Blind's Hideout's basement. I mean, it's just everything, and that was have to be the Village of Outcasts, right? It's everything is nice and packaged for us.
Yeah, is the Turtle Rock big key, not the Thieves Town. Alright, sorry about the robots. Apparently it's Discord having issues, so try to bear with us as we work through it.
Alright, yeah, speaking of, confirmed on Andy's side that there was an extra Thieves Town small key here on Bombo's tablet we just picked up.
Oh, yeah. That's a big pickup for him, because he knows he needs that key, so very good to get.
Yeah, it's always really nice to be able to get, I would say, some peace of mind, especially indoors when you never know, well, I'm sorry, when you do know that you do need another key and you end up getting it. Alright, Andy, going through backwards. Ended up, of course, already kind of visiting the area already again, so Andy has finished up his exploration.
Alright, and Andy getting the useless house because he didn't get that hint.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it was actually just prdwong who ended up checking out, and that Ice Palace entrance was not worth anybody's time. Alright, yeah. Alright, prdwong confirmed, of course, that he does have, well, in this case, Tempered Sword, while trying to get the item off of Ether Tablet versus Andy's Fighter Sword at the time that it was, in fact, indeed a compass to Ice Palace. Still not enough for to open up GT because it is 5 crystals for entry requirement, which, despite all the dungeons that both runners have cleared, is still not quite enough.
Yeah, we still need to find Misery Mire. We need the ice
That's
rod
right,
from
yeah,
the
we
rock.
haven't even found that. Mm-hmm.
And we need the big key for these stone. Little chess game for prdwong. Gets red
Yeah,
shield.
Looks like he is kind of just like finishing up some of the areas in a Dark Death Mountain. I think we just see picking up Bombo's tablet, just like a top tablet medallion. In this case, just like Andy. But going back over to the Mire area, well, I guess I'm curious to see if he actually will invest the time into the hints. Looks like probably no. Alright, Andy, finally picking up the big key to desert. In Zelda Cell, it looks like it was actually just 3 bombs, so at least he has 1 more item checked off.
Yeah, 1 more item and maybe some more items to find in here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. Given that, we do see, of course, on our screen, it is 8 out of 19 items so far. Swamp Palace is, of course, looks like actually a pretty large item. A lot of items here in Swamp, 19 of them. It is a pendant, so Andy may not have to kill Argus necessarily, for it, like, at least to defeat Ganon. However, it is also the green pendant as well, so that also might, well, hold another one of our collection.
Well, that was an annoying key door.
Mm-hmm,
right to the dead end.
Yeah, for what it's worth, prdwong also did the exact same thing, and so at least there is, no loss between both of our runners here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't remember how far prdwong got in Swamp, but I think he was pretty thorough, right?
Yeah, that's actually also a good point. I just don't remember that room. Actually, somebody came over here. Andy, oh, that's right. Andy was over here before. I think he got locked out because he didn't have the King of Samaria. Oh, never mind.
Another dead end.
It is another dead end, though, in this case. So another branch that Andy doesn't have to visit, in this case again.
Alright. I think Andy's gonna have to come back to flip that switch. Can't remember. I think it's the Mire room there. The pegs.
Oh yeah, that's... Pegs, I would say, are very, very interesting. Just kind of like another layer in order to keep track of how you're traversing the dungeon, in this case.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things to remember, I'd say.
Alright, prdwong also back here, trying to get the Southwest room himself. We did see Andy do some, really, oh no, nice jumps in order to get over to Southwest room, but yes, a very kind, friendly reminder on prdwong's side is that we still do not have boots quite yet, so you can't actually, in this case, use any bombs to conveniently get your way over there.
Yeah, gotta use the bombs in the right spot, unfortunately.
Yeah. Alright, prdwong, very well done in this case, trying to get over here.
Boy, this swamp dungeon, yeah, it is winding.
Yes, especially there's no hookshot either.
Oh, I think this is the first time we've seen this area, though. We have the hammer now, so we can get up here.
Oh, that's right, yeah, that's true, yeah. Oh man.
Wait, he just misses
so
the
much,
switch.
yeah, so much going on in this room. Andy is able to handle this quite well.
Right,
oh,
get your hype in check,
yeah.
everyone.
Wait, does he have all the...
No. Well, it's not nothing. Not sure if it's
Yeah, it
required.
may not be worth his time, in this case, in order to pick up something that's on the pedestal.
Yeah, that small key to Hera, unlikely to be necessary, but I don't think we full cleared that dungeon, so it could be. I remember this ice room. Oh no, it was a different room. My mistake. Sorry about that.
Alright, looks like actually, according to Relkin, well, right, and according to actually both our trackers, looks like prdwong also did full clear at least all the items in Hera. So presumably at least prdwong does not need that.
Yeah, so that is not necessary.
Alright, and he's actually made some pretty good progress here in Swamp Palace, already getting 16 out of the 19 items, so... We still have a key left, so
Yeah,
I mean,
we haven't found Argus yet either, I don't think.
Yeah, so I mean, presumably at this point, if Andy does find Argus, he's just gonna go beat him because you know Argus also does have the green pendant as well.
He can't though, so.
Oh, you're right.
Looking for the
You're
other
right.
two items.
That's a very kind of okay. So if he finds the hook shot in the last two remaining checks before he finds Argus, then we can go kill Argus. However, until then,
yeah.
well,
Oh well.
here's searching.
I think Andy's done.
Alright, yeah, I think you're oh, okay. Alright, so last sword, of course, we did find, well, another fire shield, and the last, our gold sword. Probably not going to make too much of a difference, of course, for Andy, or prdwong for that matter, in terms of execution, but I guess you're never going to turn it down, right?
Yeah, it's nice to have. There's a couple rooms where you don't usually go where it might come in handy, but yeah, overall, not a big advantage.
Yeah.
I think those silver arrows for now is a slightly bigger advantage, just to save a little time on Ganon.
Yeah, and we still haven't found any of Mystery Mire, its location, any of its rooms, nor have we, well, even gone to Vitreous. Not that in this case, Andy is not, or prdwong is well-versed enough in order to defeat Vitreous with Tempered or a Gold Sword in this case, but Silver, of course, are going to make things a little bit nicer.
Hello.
Hey, speaking of the hook shots, Andy just found it here in GT, well, Big Chest in this case, or Turtle Rock.
Yeah, so that opens up that Argus fight, if we can find it, and Hookshot Cave, which I don't think we've been back to for a very long time.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, because I think we found the entrance to Hookshot Cave way early, but yeah, well, okay, you know what? Andy here is going immediately to some Hookshot locations in this case, and we're going to basically get 4 more really fast checks.
Yeah, I think we found it from both directions, so we know where it goes, but don't know what these items are.
Oh, that was actually really nice half magic refill. Yeah.
Oh, that's required.
Right. That, yes, absolutely. All right, so in this case, that hook shot is, as you just said, absolutely required because we know that Thief's Sand in this case is a crystal.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, dude, hook shot locked boots. Oh. So an hour, but 2 hours and 16 minutes in, Andy finds the boost. Thank you, Pseudo Boost, for giving us all of the speed and luxury up till this point. But finally, we can do some real things now with boots.
All right, so that TR big key,
Wow.
that was in the basement of Blind's hut. So that's where prdwong needs to go if he wants to stay in this race, I think. I think Andy just got a pretty big advantage there.
Yeah, so right, and I think like the speed at which you know, Andy kind of got to it's just like throughout the scene, right? Andy has, I would say, like had a pretty like every single kind of like major ticket item, maybe save the King of Samaria. You know, Andy just got to it just a little bit faster than prdwong has. However, given that prdwong has made some significant progress on his own, he's certainly not out of this race whatsoever. He has at this point actually still he has like lots of things left for him to do. And we are still missing some pretty elusive items, right? So, for example, of all things, still an ice straw that we still have to go find can be many places.
Oh, and our tracker Relkin correcting me yet again, staying on top of everything. It was the GT big key. It was the TR big chest, but it's in GT.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was in Swamp Palace, so that's where prdwong needs to get back to.
Okay, well, he's here, and he is making some pretty good headway, so hopefully this is going to be something that he does hit. I think I do remember it was like Rando Room in Swamp Palace, which was GT Big Key. So hopefully he should be able to pick this up relatively soon.
Yeah, what entrances have we not checked that could be where Misery Mire is located?
That is a excellent question.
Because I have no idea.
No, I guess I'm just trying to think of all the things that that we have. So we haven't checked, I think, King's Tomb location. That was Boots and Mislocked.
Yeah, the Dark World Bonk Rocks, Link's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Dark World Bonk Rocks was the thing.
Have we checked TR entrance? And then there's GT as well.
Right. So GT is definitely an entrance that we haven't checked. I think Andy checked TR entrance when after he got the Quake medallion.
Okay. Yeah.
I know we came. Yeah, I know we came out of a Light World Bonk Rocks at some point. So that's not. So that doesn't have to be something.
Oh, you have a better memory at this than I do. Maybe you should play Door Random.
No. I just remember the ones that I remember just talking about it. Honestly, I think it's really just like chat and our tracker and it's just everyone has been very kind in terms of their reminders. But really, like, I think, it's much easier for kind of us to be, watching this race and be like, oh yeah, this is one place. It's even more impressive for like Andy and prdwong to be able to keep track of all of this. Not only the entrances they haven't been to, but all the rooms and like different branches within each dungeon itself.
Yeah, very true. This is this is a lot to remember and take in.
Yeah, and you're also playing, right?
Right.
Small detail. Yeah. All right, so Andy, prdwong also picking up his GT Big Key. So this is, of course, one step closer to his progression for the hook shot that we know that was in GT Big Chest. Well, that was traditionally more Turtle Rock in this case.
Yeah, we'll see how quickly he gets back there. He's interested in something else right now. Looks like Mimic Cave.
Oh, yeah, this was also a thing. Hammer locked for sure. So yeah, and very reasonable, of course, for both prdwong and Andy to kind of chase like the most recent or further out spears, right? That they have access to.
Yeah, definitely. Always want to follow up on things that you find recently that are fresh in your memory before you forget. Oh, he's right here. He could. Nope, he's gonna flute somewhere else. So prdwong is back on the mountain. Boy, I am not sure what he's interested in. What do you think?
What else was he? Is he maybe going to Dark Attack?
Looks like it. And let me tell you, what Andy's going through with trying to find where the boss room is. That's pretty much me every seed, trying to find these rooms.
Yes. Well, you know what? At least Andy has a very, helpful companion. Just if he gets lost or he wants someone to talk to try kind of like reason things out. He's got a very lovely maiden, to keep himself company.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like he's remembered this room that required the big key that he couldn't get through earlier. I think it has to lead to the boss room here. Oh, and the final item as well. So that's nice.
I didn't realize that the maiden changed palettes, I guess? Like, she has purple hair now?
Yeah, she can get some pretty wild color combinations.
Nice. Alright. Well, I mean, this is actually really cool to be able to see indoors, especially, is that these are just things that basically just don't come up in any other mode.
Alright, we got Lanmo 2 to get through as well. This is
like
track.
Yeah, so I guess like the maiden and blind man, they have this is a quite the fortitude of enemies and obstacles in the way before basically finally getting to the boss itself.
Ah, that flashing dot tells us that it's
All
almost
right.
here.
All right, finally, and of course we did see Andy way early on. Bomb opened the cracked floor. Hey, time to go on a blind date. We were just on a blind date.
Yeah,
We
what
had
was
to drag
that?
so far over here in order to get her to appear to her true form. All right, prdwong here. Looks like he is back. In Paradox Cave. Okay. Oh, I guess he wants a potion.
Yeah. He needs some magic to open Turtle Rock entrance.
Oh!
Didn't quite have enough for Quake.
Oh, that is actually a very excellent observation. Man,
can't take credit for it. Chat reminded me.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is actually another one of those things where potentially, especially in entrances or non-entrances that you just kind of take for granted. Partly also because of game design, is that we have to open up a medallion for Turtle Rock. There is a full magic pot right next door in Super Bunny Cave, so you'll never be kind of like stuck. Not quite the case necessarily with entrance and doors.
Yeah, but that was a great memory from prdwong that magic was available in Paradox Cave. I don't think I would remember that.
This is, and again, time and time again, both prdwong and Andy has demonstrated just how resourceful and really good at how basically they can manage and basically just find, resources that they need in order to do what they want.
Yeah, and here's the 5th crystal from Andy. He can finally get into GT. Yeah. I bet this has been on his mind all day.
Poor guy. So not quite the Misery Mire entrance that we wanted to see or find, but I guess Andy's like, well, I guess I'm here. I may as well go, spend some of my money on maybe something I could use later.
Yeah, that possibly was the last shop, so it doesn't have to worry about money anymore. I haven't been keeping track of how many we've found, but he would probably know better than I would.
Yeah, and at this point, he thinks, potentially we don't really need much more on his side just in terms of like item purchases. So he probably thinks that, even with 400, I'm probably safe. All right, let's check out what does Bombcrox have. All right, okay, so there's gonna be 2 more items at least. It's gonna be the actual Mire Shed.
Yeah, not many entrances left. I don't know if either player is tracking the item caves. I know Andy does, so he'll probably know if there are any left or not.
Right. Oh, it's prdwong reminding at least himself that he has also not done Spike Cave because it was hammer locked. I don't think there was actually anything useful, but at least it's gonna be one thing he's gonna be able to check off his mind.
Okay, yeah, he's gotta use his magic bottle here.
Oh my gosh! Oh, yeah, so this is so that is actually something that prdwong is also demonstrating really good heads-up game knowledge on his side. If you actually stand right above like those torches at the very end, you don't actually take damage. So if you need to refill your magic for whatever reason, just like what prdwong did, you can actually safely stand there, not take any damage or health, and not die, and then basically keep going.
Alright, is this Misery Mire? Yes. I think that it had to be, right?
Yeah.
Can't think of anything else.
Oh man. Yeah, we were really running down here on possible locations for where Mire is. All right, so this is at least going to be so this is that looks like the last potential location we needed to go find. Lots of things here in Mire. We have 4 small keys still looking for. Maybe not quite that, but in this case, Andy is hopefully going to be able to find his way to Vitreous. And then
we have the map here, so Andy knows he can just open every key door. He doesn't care about the small keys. It's a really nice luxury to have. Looks like prdwong will also have all 4 keys when he finds this dungeon.
Yeah. So yeah, the Blind's Basement, of course, always really nice to find. This is where prdwong just demonstrated that we do have, in this case, a Silvers, in this case, so he's going to be at least like fully loaded out in terms of offense.
Yeah, and I think if prdwong goes back to that GT entrance and follows up on that hook shot. This could be pretty close. He just needs to finish Thieves Town, I think, to catch up.
Yeah. And of course, we do have still a pretty strong equalizer. We, still don't know where that ice rod is, probably among other things. So.
Yeah, and I don't remember how many keys are in TR or where all the entrances are, but yeah, I don't think we found Trinex yet either.
I want to say we did find Trinex only because I want to say I remember seeing that in chat somewhere. Maybe someone else maybe also mentioned that. I don't also remember seeing though Trinex on screen. All right, Andy. Yeah, demonstrating that we do have the full power of boots. We can actually knock things off of torches now. It was just a map, but still can be worth his time.
And no big key for this dungeon, so if the ice rod is there, may have to come back.
That is that's a good point. All right, speaking of, another room done backwards. Not often you have to see this particular room.
This is at least easier to do backwards.
Yeah, actually, that's actually a good point. Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, we also saw that very, just kind of like tantalizing chest that we couldn't actually get to in any way whatsoever. Ooh, Andy. That's actually really nice use of the hook shot in order to get
like
through. That is... it's almost
nice
as if
tech.
we played this game before.
I think prdwong is a... Okay, no, stop. Don't use the flute. Okay.
Oh, we were pretty close to all right, where? All right, well, where does prdwong want to go to right now? Oh, he's going back into the Dark World.
Okay, maybe he's gonna loop it in with some other locations. Well, maybe he'll find the ice rod in Turtle Rock, and we'll get no mode for us here.
Oh, almost there. Lava chest of the key to Hyrule Castle. I guess this might just be like a feature of doors. Is that it looks like actually all of the hidden tiles that normally you would like need to light a torch for, or maybe like use ether to temporarily light up. Those are actually just very visible now in at least in these rooms.
It depends on the palette, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize it was palette dependent.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
He is back in Turtle Rock, facing down these mimics, not only with regular arrows, but he's got silvers this time. Doesn't need to do anything with intimidation tactics.
Showing us why he bailed. He needed the bow to flip the switch.
That's earlier. Right. So it was. So this was triply bow locked in this case.
Yeah, and you can't get past this without the bow. So couldn't have mimic glitched the second room. Oh, this is an annoying cutscene.
Oh yeah, all right. Andy has finally made his way over here to Vitreous, pulling out those silver arrows. Well, all right, yeah. All of the little eyeballs go down in one. The big eyeball goes down in two.
Just a quick...
Next crystal.
All right, 20 rupees. So no ice rod yet. We're still hunting.
It's always seemingly amazing how even indoors, where everything... where so many things are randomized, so many things could be, placed in different, having all these different requirements, is still, that ice rod doesn't have to show up until super, super late.
Yeah, exactly. One of Andy's remaining 71 checks. I'm sure some of those were things he could see that he's probably doesn't need to worry about, but one of those will be the ice rod.
Yeah, I think so far, at least from recent memory, so I think Desert Ledge, neither runner has picked up. I think it was just a small heart. Andy also demonstrating that actually one of the really nice things about the gold sword is that we can finally dash through those buzz blobs or those pickles with impunity. Can't do those for the Baris on this yet, but At least it's going to be something that you don't have to stop your dash for.
And prdwong opening both doors. He has all the keys for this mission.
Nice. I have so many keys, I don't even need to waste any time.
Andy, though, missing one key in Turtle Rock, so he's not going to open that door. He's going to try to get these items through a different path. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we saw this red dot. I called this out even. So, how did I forget that?
Yeah, Andy, in this case, going straight towards, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, this is gonna be another one of the Samaria lock locations. I think, yeah, actually, I think we saw prdwong go through this from the back, or from the south.
I think we did, yeah. And prdwong is back in Aga Tower. I don't know if we saw this from Andy or not.
Yeah, I also want to say that we did not actually see this from Andy. Like none of these rooms look familiar so far. prdwong demonstrating the power of that gold sword. You know, typically speaking, these are actually really challenging rooms here in NMG, especially if you only have Master Sword or even going forwards. But these red guards really don't even stand a chance against the gold sword. Also, incredibly elusive red guards, being able to dodge every single one of those arrows. prdwong's like, you know what? I'm just going to slash instead.
They've got some moves.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, those guys, like, they start with boots. I mean, like, how can you even compete at that point? Because they're red, right?
Yeah, that's true. I believe the red guard is nicknamed Usain Bolt, the one that spawns after you kill Aga.
Yeah, every single one of them moves ridiculously fast.
Okay, this is a nice room. 2 chests for Andy here. prdwong is almost finished with Aga Tower, has 2 more items to find. Just some junk. Yeah, and oh, there it is! Okay, Andy has found it.
Nice! Oh my gosh, dude, what a relief!
Alright, that puts Andy in a pretty solid position here. Just needs to finish up Trinex and kill Ganon and take this win.
Alright, so I guess the Ice Rod was actually here in Turtle Rock? Was that its home?
Every time, right?
Yes, every time. This is, you know what? This is like the mantra of Rando. You need the Ice Rod. Just go search in Turtle Rock, I guess. even indoors, it seems to hold true. Just like the rule of fire, right? It's like you need if you need Fire Rod or Bombos, and you have the other, just go to Ice Palace. Alright, so, Andy, so yeah, I think Andy, I'm pretty sure he knows where Ganon is at this point. So yeah, as you just said, this is gonna be Andy's last crystal. So, with the gold sword, super fast Trinex fight, of course. And gold sword, silvers, I don't imagine Andy having too many issues on Ganon, but, you know, his muscle memory, you know, on this equipment may not be as strong, maybe so. When, you know, maybe he'll turn off silvers or something, you know, at the very end, because he'll become more comfortable.
Yeah, I don't anticipate any problems. Based on that Trinex fight, I think he's got this.
Nice. Alright. Yeah, prdwong though, falling into here, looks like actually Colster taking advantage of that hammer, and of course the gold sword. Really nice actually, nicely done, just a couple slashes.
Yeah.
You definitely see the power of the gold sword here, at work.
Cold Stare just melted there. Really convenient spot for Cold Stare too. It's unfortunately not required today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, we certainly did see prdwong read the pedestal with this book. It was a small key to Hera, and certainly not going to need, basically in this case, like the prize or the pendant itself. But prdwong, of course, still searching, you know, for.
Oh, did you see that dodge from Andy?
No, I didn't.
That was incredible.
All right, so Andy's actually going to be able to finish the seed relatively quickly. We're actually only at like slightly probably 238, 239. Of course,
Yeah.
with Gold Sword, you don't need to have to worry about doing getting the 1-1 or anything like that. Gold Sword just kind of slash here and there. 2 silver arrows down already for Andy. 1 more. All right.
That second one punked off, unfortunately.
Oh, dude, really? Oh. All right. Okay. All right. Finally, yes. After very nicely, actually well-routed, well-executed fight throughout, Andy here is just like a couple seconds away from claiming first place, taking the crown away from defending champion prdwong of seasons 1 last year. Going to be a season 2 champion. Get your GGs out in chat for Andy, as many of you already have.
Yeah, congratulations to Andy for being the champion this season. The official race time is 2:38:05 for Andy.
That is actually quite, I would say, a nice time, all things considered.
Oh, definitely. After that slow start, especially.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the seed really picked up in the mid game, and he was able to make a lot of progress there. Make some good calls, and yeah, just a really nice play from him. Very impressive. Yeah,
certainly. Both runners have put up quite the show. I mean, you always just see. You did mention like the slower start at the very beginning. You saw how basically resource start. Everyone, both Andy and prdwong was right. Andy, for example, he found like the 1 bomb item or whatever, a pot that he had to go farm 5 screens away, over and over just for basically 2 bombs. But I mean, again, these runners are both very, very resourceful. All right, looks like
prdwong, both players super impressive in the early game with 3 hearts and green mail, just making progress. Very, very clean. And prdwong showing his displeasure at that hookshot location.
But of course, he is, of course, chasing, again, he just found the hook shot, for better or for worse, and he is going to basically pick up the rest of his goodies, the stand big key, and of course the boots, which are the bonk chuck. He's gonna get the boots first in this case, nice.
Yeah, that the way that Andy went in through this room was really interesting. I didn't know you could hookshot that pot from the top there.
prdwong pre-slashing all of the chests, showing his, expressing his opinion about basically where the rest of the items are.
Alright, and we'll see if we can get Andy in for an interview here.
Yeah, so let's see in this case we can get both runners in once they basically finish up very shortly here. Looks like though we are actually joined by Andy, today's champion and Season 2 Doors League Async champion. GG's, Andy.
GG, Andy.
I am muted. Hello.
There you are.
You are no longer muted. Hello.
Hello, GG's.
How did you feel about the seed?
It was... I feel like I got pretty lucky with Pearl. I don't know if like that pod sword was like the logical sword to get that Pearl. Like me choosing to go into a gross hair opening for basically one thing because all the other doors were locked by keys, basically. For a sword to get that Pearl was really interesting. And then it was just two really bad chain locks of items.
Yeah, you got that Pearl a little bit earlier than prdwong, so that was one of the big advantages in the race. And prdwong is joining us. He has officially forfeited, so welcome in prdwong. GG.
Yeah, GG's prdwong.
GG's. I felt really bad when I found the the flute. I felt like that probably put me behind a lot.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
Andy
Yes.
found that quite a bit sooner than you did as well.
Yeah, I almost had it, right? And I just, the chain chomps got me, and I left.
That was a big miss, yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I felt really good because I got that mirror and I was like, "Oh, dude, let's check that stupid glove locked entrance and see what's there." And then it was a really weird GT, and then all I could get up to was the chain chomp room, and then it had the flute, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm just gonna leave. Yeah, that was really interesting. And then like, I was assuming that pod area was like killing Aga 1 or Aga 2 because I was pretty sure they were both available. And then I fake flippered to Ice Rod area in the Dark World and got my first glove. And then I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And then I got the flippers and pod area, and I was like, "Oh, that's gross." And then got the mitts behind Aga 2 for like the hammer and mire area, and I was like, "Dude, this is absolute trash. What is this?" But
Yeah, it was certainly very, very interesting, like in terms of progression, because I think Andy at some point, like you read there was like you read that there was a glove in Chicken Hut at some point, so we were like, okay, so we just have to go find Chicken Hut, and yeah, probably one of the major differences was you went to the Ice Rock Cave area or Dark Shopping Mall area in combination with the Ice Rock Cave area and found your glove around the same time. prdwong beat Aga 2, did the well, and found his glove. So then, like, you were both on like separate gloves, and then we're like, okay, well, like, so when's the other person going to get mitts? Andy, you ended up getting mitts a little bit earlier than prdwong, because then you actually ended up doing Aga 2 immediately afterwards. prdwong didn't go to Ice Rod or Dark Shopping Mall, I guess, like as immediate, and then of course, you went to Meyer and you got Hammer, and then this kind of like opened up the rest of the seat for you.
yeah, and then that Ice Rod, that was like, I was like, Turtle Rock is one of my least checked dungeons, I guess. I was like, hopefully it's just in there and I don't have to search anything else. All I had left was in dungeons, so I was like super dreading finding the Ice Rod. I had like, a couple things in Hera, a bunch of stuff in Aga Tower, some things in Skull Woods. I had like Swamp Boss, something random in Pod somewhere. Like I had a bunch of one-offs that I was super worried about.
Yeah, the Meyer big chest too might have been required, but ultimately wasn't.
I will say that the early game, and I think Plumeri and I basically talked about this a little bit earlier, was the early game, I think for both of you, just the start of the seed was like super rough, right? No resources anywhere. Like I know both of you Holy Hand. Yeah, relatively early, but like, geez, where are your bombs, right? You couldn't check Saha. Couldn't you farmed like the Ice Palace one bomb pot like 2 or 3 times basically just to get like one thing, right? You had to depend on like 50-50 bushes in order to get anything.
So dumb. And then Pod was right south of Kakariko with entrance bombs galore, and I was like, wow, this sucks ass. Like I was so hard strung for resources early. It was really weird.
Yeah,
both of you cleaned up
beginning.
Pretty nicely though. Made do with what you had for sure. It was really clean routing, especially early.
Yeah, and I think also like low health also factored into some of the execution. I think you guys were both on 4 hearts, or 3 or 4 hearts, I think, for a good bit of time. Andy, I will say that your Helmasaur fight was exceptional. Obviously, a really good display of execution. I will have to say that prdwong, I think, gets the nod for most creative bombs and arrows on Helmasaur defeat on 4 hearts green mail. That was very impressive.
I don't think I had enough bombs to warrant trying to kill Helmasaur with them. I think I maybe had like 6, and I was like, I don't want to leave here with 1. And then have to like refarm 3 times in the first room.
I was more happy with how I bought some potions.
I bought a green one towards the end before half magic got found. I kept running into magic issues. I thought about buying a red one, but I think I had too many shops left, and I think I still had Zora left at that point, and so I was like,
Yeah, I saw
I'll
you
probably
head
need
toward
this
that
money.
red potion, and then I only have 500 rupees. I might need to buy something. So yeah, I was just curious if that was your thought process.
Yeah. That Thieves Town threw me for a loop because I totally forgot to mark down that there was a big key door somewhere. So I went in like 4 different loops in Thieves Town. That all just led to stupid Moldorm 2.
Oh yeah.
I also felt really dumb in Eastern when I accidentally like mirrored to change the switches instead of like go back one room and go a different direction. That was okay.
Well, it's still a very impressive dungeon routing from my perspective, because I was lost just watching you guys.
I always wondered if like people really truly feel like they know where they're going indoors. Maybe you guys actually do. Like when you're running this thing, it's really very impressive to watch.
Kind of. I don't know. It depends on like how the brain's feeling on the day. Some days I remember stuff pretty well, and other days I do not. So
Looks like you did a pretty good job this time around. So. Yeah, so I guess in this case, so congratulations, season 2 champion. So I guess like, do you have maybe thoughts about like the settings of the season, like anything that you liked, anything that you I guess like maybe would consider changing for or giving feedback for season 3?
I personally would like some variety, I suppose.
Wait, more variety?
Yeah, just like changing up the settings a little bit every week instead of like the same exact settings for all of the weeks. But other than that, like I didn't really care too much. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, next season has to have pottery lottery because.
Oh, I don't know about
that. All right.
I'm
Yeah,
down.
so I think, are we up to like 1,000 or something total item counts or something like that? I think
it's 1,064. With all of the settings that are on plus pottery lottery.
Well, for variety, we will be having Deeds of the Week for anyone who wants to participate in more Doors action. Just be a really simple async sheet that you can submit your times to, and yeah, we'll switch it up quite a bit for that. So anyone who's interested, feel free to join the Doors Discord. I think Andy has a link to it, so yeah, come check it out.
I guess like any other maybe final thoughts from you guys before we kind of wrap this up?
Well, just thanks for putting it on. I know it's a lot of work to organize everything.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I got as far as I did. I thought for sure a lot of people would have caught up to me in terms of skill, because I don't think I'm that great of a player. But yeah, GG Standy.
You should give yourself more credit for sure.
I am also surprised that I made it here to the playoffs at all. Honestly, I had such an abysmal first 4 weeks. I really needed some very good scores in week 5 and 6 to make it. And then I am surprised that my hot streak didn't run out here today. But yeah, this was fun. Thank you guys for restreaming Pool Float. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for commentating. And then Relkin, I don't know how you track this by yourself, but like
he helped us out so much. It was so great.
Yeah, I mean like Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely want to thank, I mean, Relkin, like, yeah, he is an amazing tracker, basically was able to click on like everything, looked, everything was super accurate, so thank you so much. Couldn't have actually, again, yeah, just echo what Andy said, could not have done this without you, Poolfloat. You know, Restreaming basically has, you know, let us go on the air, and honestly, like, after, you know, like, everything on the Restream, I think, looked just, like, very smooth. Everything, you know, didn't seem to, everything went correctly, so, you know, very, very happy from the tech side here.
I'm glad nothing went wrong
Yeah.
with my like 0 follower alt account that I'm streaming on right now. I was worried about like I don't know what Twitch does with baby accounts anymore, where they're like it'd play random ads or what. So I'm glad it all went went smoothly, and I didn't get banned, so that's even better. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for putting it on.
No,
and thank you
thank you
too
so
for putting on a
much.
great show.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely the stars of this. prdwong, you know, defending champion. In this case, a second place. You know, for season 2. Certainly, some very impressive titles. Of course, Andy, congratulations again for, you know, winning season 2, and of course, thank you for letting us hijack your channel through all this.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for letting us use your channel.
Of course, I mean, I was super ready to like restream any of the playoffs after week 4. So you know, it was nice that that if I wasn't restreaming, it got to be here, I guess.
Mm-hmm. This was a really fun race, by the way. I don't know if you any of you have like any desire, I guess, to watch this back, but it certainly was very, very enjoyable. At least from our perspective.
Really, it seems like I was just so far behind, though. It doesn't sound like it would be interesting to watch.
You actually were
Good.
not as far behind
Good.
as you might think. So I was right. So like I think maybe early to mid game, probably your biggest advantage was in fact the King of Smart. But even actually not having the flute was actually, I don't even think was that big of a detriment. I think it was really, I guess, like after probably Andy ended up getting what I think like the hammer and the hook shot. That was probably kind of like the main separator at that point.
Yeah, I would say Andy's lead kind of built slowly through the race. So we didn't know, you know, exactly how big that lead was for quite a while.
Yeah, but again, just thank you so much again to everyone who was involved. All of the players, I think, you know, who, you know, made, you know, Dorando ASIC Link. I think it was like, I want to say 47 people who participated and submitted scores during the main season.
And I think almost all of
Yeah,
them
about
did
47
all
people.
6 weeks,
Oh, dude, that's even more
which is
impressive.
wild.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you definitely hear of like, you know, like either tournament fatigue or, you know, people basically just dropping, you know, after like the first, you know, whatever. And it's like, yeah, if we have that much completion rate, that is, certainly shows a very strong interest in doors. So, yeah, I mean, thanks to, you know, Jester and Plumeria for basically organizing all of this. I mean, it's definitely a lot of work to put together, you know, any type of tournament organization stuff. So I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but it really does seem like, you know, a lot of people really enjoy this.
Well, happy to out and, you know, help the community do something fun. That's basically the motivation, and I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe that's sounds like that should I guess like wrap things up for us. Again, thank you, Andy. Congratulations. Thank you, Purity Wong, for putting on an awesome race for us. And of course, congratulations again for basically making it this far and you know, in the door async league in this case. I guess maybe we'll hear eventually maybe about a season 3, but I think Plumeria also did mention that there's going to be like a weekly or something async later on after this. So there's definitely going to be more doors, it sounds like, in people's future. And I personally want to also thank you know, Poolfloat again for restreaming this. Again, could not have done this without you, Relkin. I think you are an invaluable tracker, gigantic brain to be able to keep track of everything for us. And of course, Plumeria, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun commentating.
And thank you, Clearmouse. I could not have done this without you. Thank you so much for hopping on with me. So
This was
that
fun.
that was a lot of fun.
All right. I guess until then, yeah. Sounds like we can wrap things up. All right. Have a good rest of your day, wherever you may be. And until then, keep playing doors.
Woo.